Oh darling, if I had bought you flowers, would you still be here by my side? Yeah, I thought this moment could be ours, while I'm walking only through the night. You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him. Fucking stay with him. Darling, if I had bought you flowers, what if you stayed at home the night? Yeah, I've been lonely counting hours while I'm getting blinded by the light. You can break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart. You should fucking stay with him. You should fucking stay with him. Break my bones, break all the promises, but leave me alone. Don't break my heart.
That means you will. I am. Lead us into the Indianapolis anti-stall racing. Race 5, of course, the classic track, the track of all tracks, Will. You know, you live in the United States, mate.
Oh, yeah, we're still in the States here, taking on the Oval, the Indy Oval here, Biggles. There's a little discussion about who's going to take the lead here tonight, but it looks like I'm going to take the lead here to start things off. And Biggles, we were talking off air before the start of race number 5 here tonight. It could be a caution fest here at the Oval. These drivers aren't used to taking on a course like this. Of course, we were coming off of Belle Isle last week, and here tonight it's going to be a whole different monster for these drivers to tame.
Belle Isle, the Singapore of the United States of America, of course. So that track is bumpy, dusty, and takes no prisoners, which it doesn't. But Indianapolis sometimes takes some prisoners, of course, but you only have 4 corners to get it done with, of course. 4 corners in the classic Indianapolis 4.04 kilometer track there. Temperatures are good. Altitudes are the same it's been for many, many years, I presume, unless we have some sort of global warming. But aside from that, a little bit of wind, a little bit of cloudy conditions, but about 20 or so gladiators going to make their way around. Well, I'll tell you what, there's one thing, isn't it? It's one thing to be a gladiator, of course, but if you want to find that checkered flag, you're a centurion, because you're a centurion if you can find your way around Indianapolis and lead this race and lead this championship, perhaps, the second time we're going around an oval here at any store racing IndyCar series.
Yeah, we were speaking about Texas off air as well. That was the oval track that we hit just a few weeks ago. That was a little bit different there. The French conquered the Texas Motor Speedway here on anti-stall racing. And Biggles, do you think here tonight maybe the Italians can take over the Indy Oval?
I'm pretty sure in the 50,000 plus fans in the audience there's going to be a fair share of Italians out there. So maybe that could be, or could we see a Dutch upset? Could we see a Spanish upset? Could we see a German upset? There are so many nationalities. I mean, forget British. They haven't won anything in a long time, have they now? Tons are coming thick and fast in that one. What about Paulo Lopez doing it for Portugal? That's a possibility.
That is also a possibility.
And what about our Norwegian friend of Håkon Gressbed, who started that season quite well, and at the moment looking pretty damn good, as you can see him on screen here. Setting his qualifying in 20 minutes here of Indianapolis. It's going to be a bunch of laps you have to do. Can the Norwegian set a statement here? Remember, he's seen a fellow, Scandinavian win in Indianapolis Grand Prix before. Mark Ericsson, of course. We all know that. He's won it, but Ericsson wasn't obviously from Norway. So maybe it's time for the other Scandinavian to step in it, or at the moment, can the Italianos of Danilino Piazza steal this one away? 39.4 is the challenge, and I think the Italian driver will steal that one away. No, he won't actually. Loses. Yes, he will. There it is, right on cue.
And there we go, a good overtake there for the top of the grid right now. As we're taking a look at qualifying taking place at the Indy Oval, we call it here on Anti-Stall Racing. And I really like the comeback from Håkon last week, because we started to see Håkon really struggle as we have impact there from Leon onto the wall there on the entry of 3 and 4. Gonna have to get that thing going again to probably post up a time here on the track. But Håkon really made a comeback last week at Belle Isle, finished inside the top 5 on that grid. But before that, Biggles, he was starting to struggle just a little bit here this season after really starting the season off strong.
Yeah, he did, but you know what? You don't give up on the Scandinavians, especially when you live in Norway. Poor Lopez, see if he can do anything about it. But it is a bit of an Italiano, 1 and 3 at the moment, and with that Norwegian drivers you'd mentioned there, of Håkon Gressbad in P2. See it, Stefan Hoffman's currently in P4 there, and Matteo. And there is the other Frenchman, and there's Liam Kerr coming in there for the Australian Thunder there, and they're stealing the P2. Now, a bad place to be, of course, on a rolling start in Indianapolis. You want to be in either the top 4, really, at the end of the day, but hey, you got some grueling laps to do. Not 500 of them to do, of course, but you got a few of them. Welcome everybody in the chat. I will be reading it. Hello. Say hello. Is it me you're looking for? No, it's not. It's Indianapolis. Anti-Stall Racing you're looking for. But I'll be reading those chats out there. Hello all. You can't be first Anti-Stall Racing. I'm first. Who's going to be first across the line and get pole? That's the question.
Yeah, we take a look at the grid so far right now. Take a look at qualifying right now. It's Danilo at the top there. The Italians are trying to take over here once again. But right now it is the French on top of the points table. Benoit Favre right there is now leading the points heading into this race here tonight.
And Alex comes in there for the Brits there. The 22 car, it says, I'm in here. Remember us? UK? We kind of had like a 7 times World Formula 1 champion. Just because Max Verstappen's done it for 2 years in a row, that doesn't mean that the UK can't win championships.
Not at all there, as we're still watching qualifying taking place here. The times are starting to slow down with these next wave of drivers. Nobody really, and you see Danelio is trying to best his time on the track right now.
Absolutely going quicker. Let's go to the old dog racing. Teach you some old dog new tricks here. Can break the 31 flats maybe. No, made a little mistake in the final corner. But still, we're looking at milliseconds, of course. Oh, and then the Norwegian says, remember me? Remember me? Bang. Goes quickest.
And that was an excellent run out of Håkon right there. And this is the type of run that he needs here tonight, Biggles, to put his name back in the mix of that points table as we've reached that halfway point of the IndyCar series. But look at Kevin Burrell.
Yeah.
And Kevin Burrell takes the top of the grid right there with an excellent run.
Don't forget, who's made in America? Who is made in the United States of America? Kevin is made in the United States of America. He says, this is my home country, my friends. This is my track, and I'm going to win this race. And the best way to get yourself to win this race is on pole. Kevin is going to be an unstoppable machine against an inevitable moving objects of everybody else in the field.
Oh, yeah, that was an excellent run. We saw it out of Belle Isle last week as well. Biggles just didn't have enough to hold on there to win that race at Belle Isle. But here tonight, trying to put himself at the top of the grid, and he's done just that. It's going to be an excellent starting position here for these 120 laps we're going to run at Indy.
Oh, 120? Oh, I was promised 500. Damn, I'm all right. So, all right. So it's not the Indy 500. Okay, you signed me up for what? All right. So, all right. Let me finish qualifying. I'll get on the next plane. Alex Richardson pull up a fantastic third sector. Boom. The Brits are back. I mean, we all know, like, and that's going to be a little bit of injury to insult, of course. It's for all the American fans out there, for Kevin. Just getting a style away. They don't like British drivers beating any United States drivers here in the home of motor racing. So who's going to do something about that? Well, obviously, Kev, you have to do something about that. And whether or not anybody else can steal that one away will be interesting. But I'll tell you what, you know, as a United States citizen, Mr. Will, you want to see an American, don't you, on pole?
I do. I'm not very biased here, Bagels. It seems as though we always have an issue, though, with the winners of this track. We need to bust out Google Translate a few times here in this international racing series. But it would be pretty cool to see an American roll off here at the top of the grid. But right now, that's going to be very hard as Alex Richardson just got that perfect time up there, a 39.3 flat at the top of the grid right now.
Yeah, I'm on with the other Americans on the grid at the moment. Where is our mainstay Aiden Young at the moment? P12 and Ethan Shepard, I think, maybe a new face, whatever. However, yeah, I'm actually kind of see where my boy is as well too. From last week, is not here at the moment. Racing from the United States of America. He's on the West Coast. The man that brought me the graphics card, never forget that. He's not actually on the grid, unfortunately. So only 3 Americans. I like to say North American, United States American. No, United States of Americans. There you go. Because I live in the Americas and you can't call me an American. Damn, I live in Americas and I can't call me anyone in Americans. But there it is, Alex Richardson. And I don't think anybody else is going to be able to steal that one away. So, but then again, Kevin's going to be on the second row. Yeah. On the first row, essentially, which is just as important, of course, in Indianapolis.
It is very important to start up there, especially with the carnage that we're thinking is going to ensue here tonight, Biggles. I don't want to see it as this race course opens it up for a lot of excellent racing here. But the way these embankments are, the corners are, especially coming off of corner number 2 and 4, and you see it right there on the exit of 2. Ethan Shepard's struggling with that corner already here in the Q session. I really do think that this might be a caution-filled race, and it's going to be basically what you said to start this broadcast, a gladiator-style race, the last man standing, if you will.
And I have to say, if I was James Hunt talking to Murray Walker, I would say that is a crock of... I'd have to say, I will disagree with you. I won't insult you like that, of course, because your expertise is brilliant. I'm just going to say, I think it's going to be a lot less than what we did see at Texas, because during the practice sessions, what we've seen, I haven't seen like a lot of people bidding it into the fence and stuff like that. Kevin's on a rampage right now. He's trying to defend this. He's trying to keep the 50 plus 100,000 people, whoever it is here, that are sold out to grandstand of Indianapolis, and says the United States is going to be back on pole. Will the United States be able to get this one? No, he's so close. 3,000th of a second.
He got it.
He's got it.
He got it. Yeah. Represent
United
right there for Kevin
States.
Burrell.
I can't even hear you right now. The grandstand is just cheering like mad. I mean, there's no Dutch Army flares going off at the moment, but I could just hear the screams. He's done it. It's got to feel good, isn't it? This is your home track. This is Indy. This is the one you want to win. And the best way to do it is put that car on pole.
Yeah, that was an excellent run right up there. He sat down in the pits for just a little while. He said, you know what, let me give it another go. And he did just that, taking over the top of the grid. So Kevin Burrell, at this moment, with this last car of Ethan Shepard out here right now, is going to start on the pole here at the Indy Oval.
Yeah, and I guess the Brit there of Alex and Harkin. Can they do anything about this right now? Ethan Shepard's out on track, practically lonely by himself. But going back to that, I do believe that there'll be less caution cars, because during the practice session that we were watching early before the stream went live, even during this qualifying session, we've only seen little taps against the wall, but we haven't seen the madness that we've seen in Texas. So perhaps they've had that dress rehearsal over, and now it's going to come time to, all right, we're ready for this oval. We're ready for the oval of all ovals, of course, aka Indianapolis. So everybody's gone down there, and what kind of cluster have you been to Indianapolis before, Will? Like, or would you be snacking on? Like, I mean, obviously hot dogs and all that jazz you get at baseball games. What's kind of the cuisine you would eat here in Indianapolis?
I don't know. I've actually never been to the Indianapolis. It's one of my dream tracks to go to, but of course it has to be all the traditional American foods of like hamburgers and hot dogs and all that stuff. But I'm sure there's like a Chick-fil-A in the mix somewhere at Indy. I'm sure there's like some chicken tenders you can snack on the race course here. But I'm also sure there's some specialty foods that you can eat at the racetrack. I just don't know. It is a beautiful racetrack we're going to take here tonight, though, in the IndyCar series brought to you by Anti-Stall Racing. This is race number 5, Biggles. We're already halfway through the season.
Doesn't take long. And Mark's out there. There's the man I was missing. Mark, thank you very much, Mr. By doing everything out of your way to get me a graphics card. Mark, why aren't you racing at that? I wanted to see you out there. You just joined last week, of course, as a new driver to well, I was going to say IndyCar, but obviously iRacing. I know you're a F1 driver, and it's a little bit of adjustment. Why aren't you racing? Obviously, tonight would be fantastic to see you. This is your home state, mate. Well, I know you're West Coast, and we're a little bit mid-east. However, would have been good to see you cruise your way around here, but then it is what it is. And Mark, you could probably tell us what the cruising would be. Maybe they have those kind of like, those little meals, and we call it like, turn 4 burger, turn 6 this. The brickyard burger would be something you probably would want to buy on the menu, right? I don't know.
It sounds good to me, Biggles, but my question to you here, as we look like it's about to rain here at Indy, we spoke about off air about how the track temperature can actually heat up those tires, and that was something to keep an eye out for here tonight. Do you think with the temperatures being low, it being overcast, we're going to run into that overheating of the tires issue that we spoke about?
That's a very good question, because at driving these sensational speeds, of course, and little bits of changes make a massive difference. These cars are very equally performance. There's no push to passes. Of course, tires will make a difference. Mark may answer that one. Kevin may answer it, of course. Greetings from the number 61 car of Kevin Stam. And Mark is actually in New York, away from PC. Well, where dreams are made of. Is it in New York?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Glad to see you there. Yeah, I'd be glad you enjoy the race. Well, look, Mark, what do you think about that? What makes a difference? I'm not a driver, you see. Maybe Gerald, our producer, could answer that. He's done a few laps around many tracks.
You're going to have to ask that question
Gerald?
again, because I was sorting some things out on Discord.
Gerald, I'm going to ask that question again. Well, actually, you asked that question, Will, that you asked me.
Yeah, so with the weather the way it is, a little bit overcast, the track temperature is going to be low, with the thought of rain being here on the race surface. Me and you actually spoke about before we came on air here tonight, one of the things the drivers have to keep an eye out for is the overheating of the tires. Now, with the track surface being lower because of the overcast, is that something the drivers are going to have to keep an eye out here tonight, or is that going to be no worries here the rest of the go?
I don't think we're gonna particularly have to worry about it, but having a cooler track definitely is particularly nice. You do get a bit grippier, especially since out of corners 2 and 4, your tires are generally on fire. Especially
well, Firestones.
Yeah,
I'd imagine that.
Yeah. But no, I think the slightly cooler track temperature. Let's have a look at what the track temperature is actually, if I can find that button for us.
It's about as cool as a PPR beer that you'd be on sale at the moment here in Indianapolis. I'm not sure what the stadium fits, but it's definitely packed out. There we go. So 22 degrees Celsius for the air or track. Temperature 28 track, I had to say. Yeah. Sorry, you guys, in the United States of America and the England, it's called Celsius. You don't know what it is, but it's called a pretty good modern measurement that everybody uses in the world. So it's cool, but definitely, I'll tell you that. That's cool.
Yeah, that is actually really cool for track temp, actually. Quite often these ovals.
45% humidity is quite high, I guess, for Indianapolis.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Yeah, the wind speed's not much, which is going to be a key factor, obviously, depending on whether a wind speed is, what turn you're going to be throwing that one at. So how much do you feel, I mean, in the grid, the whole calendar we have this season here at Annual Racing for the first time, the first season that we're going to be doing the IndyCar series, how much does you want to win Indy? Isn't Indy the one you want to win? The Brickyard?
I think so,
yeah.
Biggles. I think this is a race that you want to conquer here, especially being the halfway point. But Biggles, I'll throw it on over to you since I did the grid last week. It's your go here this
fine,
week.
all right. Kevin, the American, has done it. 52 car has beaten the Brit of Alex Richardson to take the front row there. Harkin is back there. Grebstad there in the third, and the Italian of Danilo will get the 56 car there. Kevin Stam for the Netherlands right against the French of Robin there, and the Aussie of Liam Kerr there, and Benny Friege there from Germany. Paulo Lopez, our Portuguese platformer, and Andy will row out 9 and 10 there. Go into Donnarello Ricciardi there, the other Italiano for the Old Dogs Racing Team, and Aiden Young will be the representation of the United States of America in P12. If we go further back down into the grid, we can see the other drivers behind the top 12 currently at the moment for the Brickyard. If we have, and we do have others, obviously, we'll have Benito Folevia, the other French driver, Lennon, Carlos Fernandez, Stefan Hoffman, Matteo, Alec Vanderbos, Frankie Francocchino, and Effort Steppard, and Bart. I'm not quite sure if Bart's going to be participating in the race or not as the other Dutchman, or be a safety car driver. But either way, that is it for Indianapolis. That'll be a grid, of course, but Kevin has to hold off Alex. It's like no redcoats are invading our country, my friend. We have definitely declared our independence from Great Britain. It's going to be the key, isn't it? And you don't want Great Britain to beat you at home, do you, in Indianapolis? I heard something out there. So they're going to do a rolling start naturally under the iRacing pace car. Unfortunately, it doesn't look as cool, does it, as the Andy Store Racing pace car does, but it is what it is. We get what we get.
Now, as we're watching this rolling start here, Biggles, a few things that pop off to me here on that grid. We're looking at Benoit Favre starting outside of the top 10. We're looking at Donario starting outside of the top 10. Are those two drivers, do you think they can make a push through this grid, or do you think they're sort of in the quote-unquote danger zone being in the middle of the pack?
Talk to Goose about the danger zone. I'm not quite sure, but it could be time to bite the tower. You have to bite the tower, of course. Bite Bernie for 100-odd laps would be the key. I don't know, mate. It's a danger zone anytime you're in Indianapolis. It's all about getting that car home, avoiding the walls, and getting the pit lane when you need to be. And of course, pit lane when you need to be also following somebody or working with your teammates in and out. I expect the Italians to work brilliantly for that one. Boxing when they need to box together, getting that slipstream, getting that toe. Welcome everybody. Mark, I hope you're enjoying yourself in New York watching this race in Indianapolis. Kevin's going to be on pole there. Alex is going to be on the outside. And then you're going to have on the inside the Norwegian army. And, of course, the Italiano. Bringing it. Pace car is going to be peeled in a minute. And this is going to be one of the fantastic races we're going to see. 120 laps of this classic track. how many safety cars we're going to get. Hopefully absolutely zero pace cars, but it is what it is. We'll find out very, very soon if Kevin can bring it here and bring the United States home. Well, it's very soon going to happen, and this is and always will be the greatest spectacle in racing. This is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Series for IndyCar Racing. Race 5, bang, it's gone, and Kevin leads them into turn 1.
Yes, Kevin leads them down the back. So we have craziness all on the first corner. Cars are flipping and flying already on the exit of the corner, and the caution flag is out here on lap half.
Yeah, that's exactly what I believe our producer had called a little bit earlier, saying, I don't think we're going to get through, Biggles. You calling the race start. I did call it, but look further back here. I believe it's that yellow car, if you just focus on that one right now, of Robin here. And that's going a little bit too deep on cold tires, I'd have to say. What's happened? No, actually, it wasn't his fault. There was a tap there from the blue and white car, and forced him into the fence. And guess what? Actually, believe it or not, it was the only incident into turn 1. Not too bad, you would have to say. Everybody else very, very cautiously avoiding that one. Maybe a tap to the DHL, reminding you to be on time every time. But so far, that's not too bad. Just a solo mistake. I'm not quite sure that they will be investigating that one. But to me, it just looked like Robin just clearly had cold tires and just lost the rear end. And everybody else, luckily, wasn't a massive pileup. There is another car off there. What happened with the other car that was just sent there? I think that's Robin, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look. Nothing's ever happened to Liam Kerr. Liam Kerr's an Australian. Nothing ever happens to Liam. Liam's in the inside line right here. This is it. This is what causes the accident. Liam loses the rear. It causes the tap. Now, everybody else has taken evasion of actions, and then Liam's come back on track, and there's contact between two of the other drivers. Exactly, because Liam was a bit of a passenger there as well. So that's just, yeah, Liam would definitely be under investigation for that one. For losing their rear end, causing a multiple car accident pileup, and may very well get a penalty for that. Sorry, Liam, I love you as an Aussie, but it is what it is, mate. Anybody gone the pit lane? Aiden Young's gone the pit lane. A few of the other drivers have gone the pit lane, but Benito and Robin, the French drivers, have elected to go in, as well as Benny for the German driver. So far, still, Kevin does lead this race. Did hold off Alex into the famous turn 1, where lap 3 of 120 in the first caution car, of course, here around here, but not a massive crazy pileup that we've seen in the past, haven't we? And there it is. That's a confirmation. So the car 16 will get a drop to the end of the field, and the car 16 is Liam Kerr. So that, and 88 car was Paulo Lopez. So Paulo Lopez, have you got a replay of what happened to Paulo Lopez, Portuguese driver? Currently he's running in P6. He's been sent to the end of the line. I didn't see what happened there. Because that's curious. We know Paulo Lopez is driving in the Portuguese colours. Curious. Now, he's been sent to the end of the line for something that's happened. We'll focus on the accident behind. Now, Paulo Lopez is a passenger here. He goes to avoid the accident, comes back on the track. Yeah. That may he's come back and he's actually hit Liam. So that's caused that when Liam and Paulo are both in that. We're going green flag racing again. Over to you, Will.
Yes, sir. As Kevin Brown's going to take us down into the first corner right there, as we were going over all the incidences on that quarter of a lap we ran here. Let's see if we can get one lap in the books right now as we're cruising around the first couple of corners right now. Everything is safe and calm right now down the backstretch, down to corners number 3 and 4.
Yeah, and there's a challenge for the lead at the moment. Can Alex get everything on Mr. Kevin into turn 1? You better believe you can. The Brits are back there. Has Kevin lifted off to save some fuel? It doesn't matter at the moment. There's plenty of laps to go. 4 of 120. Alex has now resumed the lead of this race. And another yellow. We've had, well, I'm hearing a bunch of this from our race producer, because unfortunately we don't want to see yellows, but it is what it is. There's something at the back though. Let's find out what happened.
You were so close from completing a full lap there, Biggles. Just about a quarter of a lap away. We see right there more contact. Looks like down the backstretch there as we go into corner number 3.
Somebody's tapped Mateo. Mateo was an innocent victim of that one. You can see that. Mateo was in the outside wall there. Let's have a look at who tapped Mateo was the key. Now, Mateo is one of the other French drivers. There's somebody there that just got a little bit of a cold tire restart, which is only on the key to restart. Let's have a look. It's on the inside line here. I think it's a DHL car right here. Look at this. That's Ethan. Ethan loses it a little bit, and unfortunately, Ethan is just... Mateo is the one that goes into the fence. Guys have to just cool, calm, and collective. No crazy overtakes. Get those temperature tires. Look at the old dog racing at the moment, too. If I'm not mistaken, the Italians are running in P5 and P6, and that's the teammate there of Danilo and Ricciardi is in the P6 there, getting 5 positions. And you know how well they like to work together. It's probably panned out brilliantly under these early caution cars on lap 5, 120 here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I spoke about that, how Doriano, there we go. I got it this week, Biggles. Doriano started outside of the top 10, has now worked his way up the grid to get up there with his quote-unquote teammate up there, the Italian takeover. And now you see them coming through the grid. That does not bear good news for the rest of the guys at the top of this lead pack, especially Alex Richardson, Kevin Burrell up there. You see Hulk on up there. Once those Italians start to get their groove, they start to feel themselves in these races. It's really them against everybody else. We see it weekend and week out, Biggles.
And on top of it, you also look at the Spanish powerhouse of Carlos Fernandez and Frankie Francescino, P9 and P10 there, 6 positions and 9 positions gains. So the Spanish are hanging together and working together. The Italians are working together. So that's going to be very interesting. I mean, even though they're on opposite teams at some point, they're still going to represent their national pride. Incident between 33 and 34. 43, of course, has been no further incidents. That was the accident I believe we had with the Ethan and Mateo. So that was that accident we saw before. And the stewards have decided, no, it's all good. Race on. Game on. Alex leading this race. We should get the pace car peeling into the pit lane, and we're getting ready to roll on lap 7, perhaps, if Bernie... Not Bernie, of course. So Barney, we were running... It starts with a B. Alex will be leading this one.
And Biggles, as we wait the drop of this green flag, you see our points leader right now halfway through the season's down in the 14th position. But here we go. The green flag is about to drop one more time. Let's see if we can get one lap in the books here in Indianapolis.
Let's see if Kevin wants to take this position back. He's happy. The old dog racing team is hanging in by themselves there. So Alex goes across the line here. Kevin behind him. Huckin. And then the other Kevin Stam, of course, he's got a little bit of that man. Kevin wants to get past right now. He says, I don't want Norwegians. Well, we are all in Europe, but he wants to get past the Norwegian driver because he knows he has 2 old dog Italian racing teams behind him. Here we go, lap 7.
Cruising around lap 7 right now, down into 3 and 4. See if everything can stay clean and calm right now so we can at least get one lap in the books here. We're on lap 7, but it has been filled with caution so far here tonight. Everything is racing good right now as we head down that front stretch.
And look at the overtake. There is another yellow, unfortunately. I was just about to say somebody lost it. It was Liam Kerr. Uh-oh. Liam Kerr has crashed, but I think there was somebody else dropping a little place there before. Maybe Andy, maybe Paulo Lopez have gone to the pit lane. Surprisingly, none of Liz got in the pit lane right now. Kevin Stam right here. You can see, I know he dropped some places as we were focusing on the front of the grid, and there's a massive accident. So Liam's involved. I believe that was, if not mistaken, is that Kevin involved there as well? I know Paulo Lopez is just in the background there. Oh. Andy? I'm not. Yeah, that's Andy Tapman.
Oh.
No, Andy Tapman's going at the moment there with flapping tire gun. It's going to be like a... Yeah, Paulo Lopez looks like he's okay. That's Liam in the background going to the pit lane, I believe. So let's have a look. Stuart's going to be massively busy here in Indianapolis. Let's have a look at Kevin. Now, Kevin's running P4 at the moment. I don't think I saw anything happening with Kevin, if I'm not mistaken. I think Kevin was fine. The accident was definitely behind this. Yeah, we're looking at live pictures right now. That is the situation. Now, Ethan Shepard's gone in the pit lane. Bart's going in the pit lane. Paul Lopez is in the pit lane. They do have one fast repair. Liam Kerr, unfortunately, has been involved in some of the accidents there. Benny Ferge has been in the accidents. Robin has been in the pit lane. It was a good race start. You'd have to say, if Alex, Kevin, and Haken, and the other Kevin Stam has been making some moves at the moment, are getting one place. And the Italians of the Old Dog Racing, you can see with the same livery right behind Kevin right now, just hanging in there. And the Italians do what the Italians do best, mate, don't they? They just sit back and just look at all the action, wait until the last couple of laps, and deliver the results.
Yeah, they really sit comfortable right there. A lot of chat between the teammates there, a lot of communication throughout the race. But because I wanted to touch on Andy Tapman there. You see another disappointing start for Andy. He comes into these races with so much confidence, with so much momentum, week in and week out. But it's always that first quarter of the race that really knocks him out for the rest of the go.
Very, very clever, as at the moment Mark says out there in the chat, first iRacing for the 33 car of Ethan. Let's check currently at the moment where Ethan is. Ethan Shepard. That's right. You are. I know another Ethan. So he is in the pit lane right now doing some repairs of a minute and change. There'll be a few laps down, perhaps. But good on him. You know that for a fact, Mark, last week. Getting into iRacing is a whole different ball game with other different racing games. But it's good to see you in here. Give it a shot. Give it a try. It's all about having fun. In-store racing is all about allowing new drivers to come in and be a part of it. Learn the community, but guess what? We're going to go green flag racing again. Alex is in the lead of this one from Kevin. Lap 10.
Right. Yeah, as Alex is going to take us down to corner number 1 right now. Everything is calm, cool, and collected. And ladies and gentlemen, we have yet to run one full lap. We've come close now the past second or 2 restarts, but not just yet, though, as Alex Richardson's going to take us down to the next couple corners.
Leon is going to be making a run on both the Italiano Old Dog Racing teams. Can he get it done? We get a track map up in a second too as well too, Mr. Director. Sorry, I don't know all the corners off by heart, but he's going to make a run right now like mad. Here we go. And down the main straight into turn 1. Can he get it done here? He's going to certainly think about it, but then again, you don't want to be splitting the Old Dog Racing team up because they work brilliantly together. Is he going to go on the inside? No, he's going to step back in a minute and just take that slipstream and just cruise on by like a Sunday, Monday racing.
And we did it, Biggles. We completed one official lap here at Indianapolis on lap 11.
Now we have it because Carlos has just crashed right as you said that.
No, I thought we had done it there. As you see, Carlos Fernandez, take a look at what happened here.
He said, no smooth operating for me, maybe. We'll find out about that. The Spaniard. What's happened to Carlos? Look at that number 7 car. He's on the inside line here. Oh, no, it wasn't his fault. There it is.
Ooh.
It was the McLaren livery. And if I'm not mistaken, who is the McLaren livery? The old school McLaren livery. And Carlos is just a passenger in that one. You can't blame Carlos for that.
That's
Can anybody
unfortunate.
concur who that driver was that lost it? And I think it...
Yeah, we'll have to take another look here.
Now, it's the McLaren ahead of Carlos. So Carlos is there, right there, the number 7 car. He's cruising around, just driving along, you know, like getting a 5-star Uber rating, bang. And he's an unfortunate victim in that corner accident. And so the old Minardi livery.
Yeah, I can't tell who that is there on the track. Stefan.
It's Stefan, that's right, exactly from the previous set. Stefan, it uses the old school McLaren livery. Stefan Hoffman, the German driver, yep, for the number 8. I can't even see that telemetry properly, but yeah. So no doubt that will be investigated in the stewards, and yeah, sorry on that one there, Carlos. That was definitely not your fault at all. Where are you going to go at that point?
And Biggles, as we're under caution once again, there's not much of analysis of this race so far, as we've yet to complete one full lap around Indianapolis. But what are some of the things now that's going to go through? I know you're not a driver yourself, but what do you think some of the things that are going through a driver's mind now with as many cautions flags that we've seen here on lap 12? Is it really just to keep yourself out of trouble and then maybe you have a shot when we go green, we keep it green? Or is it just you try to, work your way up the grid and then whatever happens, happens?
I think it's going to come down to really congratulations on the drivers that got themselves into like the top slots of the qualifying, because they don't have to worry about all the action that's happening behind them. Because as you know, we just seen drivers be taken out by car accidents when it's not their fault. The best, and I've always said before as an engineer to drivers, like, if you want to not get involved in all these accidents, just qualify your car on pole. That's exactly what Kevin and Alex has taken that pole away, obviously from Kevin. But if you're up the front, mate, you don't have to worry about all the action behind, do you? So just cruise on, follow the pace car, and they're going to stretch the fuel out. They're going to stretch the tires out. It's going to be interesting to see if we do get a bunch of green flag racing, when they are going to elect to box will be the key. At the moment, they're happy just to chill behind the pace car and just sit in these positions. But until we get down to the nitty gritty of this 120 lap race, that's when you're going to start seeing some moves. But anyway, pace car's going to be peeling in. And Alex is going to lead us around Indianapolis on lap 14 soon. Hopefully for a few more laps, or at least a few laps of green flag racing here in Indianapolis. And he's still racing race 5.
You see right now they're rolling towards that front stretch right now. Alex Richardson's going to take this green flag to start things off here once again in race number 5. This is the halfway point of the Anti-Stall Racing IndyCar Series. We'll see if we can get one official lap in the books here as the cautions have flown down.
So they're going to take it, of course. Alex is going to have a powerhouse into turn 1. Everybody else to be very well behaved behind. Going to come up to a lap car as well in the minute they should hopefully get out of the way. And there's a bit of a challenge at the behind there. Kevin Stam has really been on the power, hasn't he? Absolutely wants to get past the Norwegian driver and prove that he's the overall master. And it looks like at the moment he's going to take the inside line and perhaps get a job done there in honor of his Dutch Max Verstappen has wrapped up the Formula 1 World Championship. But guess what? This is IndyCar, not Formula 1. Ooh. And so Kevin has to try to continue to do this one. On the outside is Haken. He hasn't got it done yet.
No, on the exit of 4 right there, see Holcomb with a lot more speed there, was able to shut the door on Kevin right there on the exit of the corner, but Kevin's still right there, still knows his opportunity is not done just yet. He does have to climb back up there to get that move, heading down to the first couple of corners right now. We're going to hit this backstretch, see if he has enough speed right now, but Biggles looks like he lost all that momentum. He has to work back up to it now.
He's probably not used to a couple of laps of green flag racing. That's the key, isn't it? As they're all challenging themselves. Can I get this temperature up back on the tires where you get the real speed and real racing? Kevin there currently running in P4, challenging P3. Also, you got to remember the other Kevin's also looking at challenging, but this is where the action's at currently in the moment. You can see right now, that's a lap car that has to get out of the way at the moment. Alex Richardson's leading this race, and here we go. Here's the challenge. And can he do it? And also, don't forget about the Italians sitting in the background there, lurking and going, pineapple on your pizza. Doesn't matter. You're in Indianapolis. It's not about that. I had to say the Old Dog Racing is definitely putting a challenge right now. Are they communicating together? Are they going to sandwich in Haken?
Right there, they're going to go for a little 2-for-1 special right there. As you see, one goes to the high side, the other one's going to stay low. They might even split him here as we hit this front stretch. As you see, that teamwork's coming into play right now. It's going to be tight off of 4. You see right here, he was going to think about going.
Yeah, he's going to go in the middle there. Look at this. They're going to time it perfectly. They're going to make sure they don't take each other out. He's got the inside line. They're both going on the outside. They're both going to go on the outside. They should tuck it ahead. Boom. Old Dog Racing. Teaching some young tricks. That's how you do it. Italiano. Grazia.
Oh my goodness gracious, what a move we just saw from the Italians. Those two red machines are working their way up the grid already. They have linked up with one another. We just saw an incredible racing move there on the front stretch to basically squeeze the inside driver a little bit further out to allow that middle move to take place. And right now they're looking at more positions on the racetrack.
And further back, Frankie is getting a bit of a taste. And look at this. What's going on wrong right now with the Norwegian driver? He's jumped another place there. Frankie says, I'm going to do that as well. I'm a Spaniard. I saw what the Italians did. I can do it as well. So now Frankie's up to P6.
Just not finding the speed here on this green flag run, the longest green flag run here on lap 18 so far in tonight's race. I can't put the commentator's curse on it just yet, as everything seems to be pretty calm here on the racetrack. The only thing that's not calm is these Italians that are trying to work up the grid. They see positions right up in front of them right there. They're trying to chase down Kevin Stamp for that third spot.
That's some of the best working together teammates I've ever seen. Somebody has to upload that to the iRacing highlights, top 10 highlights. Because that goes to show you how you drive together, how you communicate together. They had to time perfectly, remember? He had to go through the middle. His teammates on the outside, he had to go through the middle, trust his teammate, and then get the power down, get the pedal to the metal, and get it done. And that's to teach you, once again, how old dogs race around lap Indianapolis. 19 of 20. Alex still leading from Kevin. And Kevin Stam now, who's putting the pressure a little bit back on the other Kevin, United States of American Kevin Burrell. And there's a warning for P4 there. And here we go. Stefan is on the inside. Remember, Stefan was involved in an accident. Now he's on the back of the DHL car. What can Stefan do? That's Ethan Shepard that you'd mentioned out there, Mark. It's his first time racing at the moment. He might get a little bit of an overtake. He's got to defend a little bit against Stefan Hoffman, the number 9 car. Can't get it done yet.
Essentially, Big Nose, this is for a battle for the last car on this lead pack right now. Other than that, you have Robin Dumelo right there in the 17th spot. That's essentially 32 seconds off the pace right there. So this is for to keep yourself in contention. You might not be battling up there for the lead, but it still keeps you in the race. And for Ethan, if this is his first go in these Indy cars, my hat's off to him. He's been a pretty good drive here tonight.
Absolutely. Kevin Stam as well is putting pressure on Kevin Burrell. As you can see, this may be overtake right now as we're going to commit to this P15, P14. That's going to be a fantastic battle, of course, and they're going to try to keep themselves, but they're a lonely pack right now, all by themselves. They need to actually use themselves as a tow more than anything. But look at Kevin Stam in P3, putting a bit of pressure right now on Kevin Burrell as they're going to make their way down into the final turn 4. To complete another green flag racing lap that we exactly want. But Kevin Stam is hunting down the American driver here to disappoint perhaps the 50, 70, 80,000 audience members. I don't even know how many there are. I can't count them, but it doesn't matter at the moment. Kevin Stam wants this position and he wants it bad. He says, look, Dutch drivers are in town, mate. Dutch army.
And right as Kevin was starting to feel confident, he started to feel his race, he started to see that gap between him and Alex right there start closing. He started to look in his rear view. He sees Kevin now chasing him down. So all that confidence he had there on that run now has to switch to blocking for that second position.
Okay, go on board, hopefully with Kevin Stam. I want to see Kevin Stam right now. Down the main straightaway. Let's go on board with Kevin. Let's see how it feels into turn 1. Maximum speed, maximum reward, maximum risk course. Indianapolis, 23 of 120. And we are green flag racing. You can see, where are the racing lines? How is that car struggling? He's 5th gear. He's going on the power. He's up in the 6th gear, shifting up. Now, is he going to follow for the slipstream? You bet he believe. Is he got him?
He's got him, Biggles. He's got him right here on corner 3. If he can keep this momentum around the corner right there, he's going to lose a little bit of speed, but it looks like he has that line. Now down into 4, he's going to ride that inside lane there. Lost a lot of speed, though, on the entry of 3. It looked like he had him, though, on the entry of 3 off that backstretch.
He's just focusing him. He's just trying to find what he's doing right, what's doing wrong. This is actually bringing Alex into play. Remember, they're towing. Alex is giving him the tow. Alex is breaking the wind, of course, at 300 plus kilometers an hour around Indianapolis. And this is allowing both the Kevs. It's the Kevs battle, exactly the battle of the 2 Kevs that Steven mentioned out there. And which is going to be which? Of course, you have a 1.8 second count down the gap there. So you're going to have the Italian driver with his Italian teammate there towing him along for the P4 battle. But this is our top 3 at the moment, and we know soon, at some point, like 24 or 120, somebody's got to think about boxing.
You take a look at our points leader right now is basically worked back up inside the grid right there. Right now, P11 on the racetrack. Oh, man, that was hard coming off of corner number 4. Almost contact with the outside wall.
Don't you mess with the walls in Indianapolis, of course. Yeah, Benito is definitely under a little bit of pressure, of course, but behind him, But that Frenchman, man, cool, calm, and collective. He's been in this situation multiple times before. You said he's the leader currently in the championship, so he knows he'll deal with pressure. No problemo.
Yeah, very confident in his abilities there, and that's number 75 or 759 there. It's rocking 3 numbers on the side of the IndyCar here in the anti-stall IndyCar series. But an excellent season so far here. Our halfway champion, and tonight it might not be his race to win. Who knows here on lap 26? But right now it's got a solid drive going on inside the top 10. But it looks like Bart's going to overtake him for that top 10 going down to corner number 1.
Didn't look like he put up much of a fight, of course. He's playing the long game. We're 26 of 120, so we have 100 or so, or just under 100 laps to go. He's gonna just play it out. You know, he's cool, calm, and collective. Look at that. He's downshifted a little bit. He's lifted just to sit in the toe right now. Currently, a Bart that just overtook him before. No problemo. He's thinking about the championship. He's not thinking about this particular race win right now. Still early to say. Alex is still thinking about doing something soon, leading this race there from Kevin Birrell and Kevin Stam. And are they still managing to maintain a gap to P4? They are. It's a 1.3 second gap. So Dorello is not getting the gain that he wants, but he's got his teammate there behind him. So they're a lonely race between the tones. Then you have Frankie, for the Spaniard, running in P6, a few seconds of change down the road. And of course, with our Norwegian driver, Hakan Grabstad, there in P7, just getting him a tow. Paulo Lopez looking like making a run right now. If you're going to go to the Portuguese driver in P9, that'll be interesting. Paulo Lopez, we know, has a lot of power. You can see that 3-way battle there, and that's the battle I was talking about. Of course, Harkins P7, you can see him up the road there. Alec Boss, and then Paulo Lopez making a run here. There's Paulo. We're on board right now with the Portuguese driver, and you can see the different racing lines he's going to take. He's going to get a little bit of a tow. He's inside there. He's half a second down the road. See the different racing lines, but Alex going on the inside and switch back out on the outside. That's quite interesting. Here we go back to Stefan, that's been in all the pictures this evening, hasn't he? Front page of German newspapers this evening for IndyCar is Stefan Hoffman.
Yeah,
the number 9
right
car.
there.
Yeah. Go to I still want to see what's at the battle front here. I mean, Paul Lopez is obviously putting a bit of a challenge on, but I still want to see what's happening because Kevin Stam may be putting a bit of a run right now on the other Kev. The 2 Kevs could be at it, the P2 and P3. If we get the cameras over to them, here we go. Kev Stam, he got to get it done. You saw it before. Where's going to go on board? Let's go on board, Kev, and see. What do you reckon there, Will?
Yeah, he found that speed once again. We saw him trying to make that move just a few laps ago. Lost all that momentum. Has had now worked back that speed that he had. It looks like he's going to get him here, though. It looks like he just lost a little bit of speed there on 1. Going down into 2 right now. He does have the speed to get around Kevin Burrell right up there, but he just has to make sure he calculates everything just right because it seems as though he has this run, Biggles, but then it just loses it just a little bit, and that causes that gap to increase. Looks like he's going to run now onto 3.
I wonder if he's lifting a little bit to get the tow. I wonder if he's just coasting and saving. That's the key. Doesn't look like he's fully. Look at the revs. You can see 5th gear. It's revving. Doesn't look like. Just listen for a lift. 6th gear upshift. Now he'll obviously downshift into 5 soon. He's on the maximum revs. Lift, a little lift, drops it to 5. Yeah. Doesn't look like he's trying to mount a challenge just yet. Happy to stay in P3. Happy to follow perhaps Alex and the other Kevin, of course, the one up the road, and to see when they're going to be boxing soon. 31 of 120. You guys out there in the chat, thank you very much for watching. When do you guys think out there that they're going to have to get in there and get some fuel or boots?
Hey, now my question to you, Biggles, what's the advantage of doing that there, letting off and basically getting that tow, as you said there? What's the advantage for Kevin here in this 3rd position of doing that here in the early stages of this race?
I'd have to say fuel saving. Fuel saving for sure, because you're not burning as much energy, and that's actually probably one for our producer out there, which is Gerald. He's a race driver. Gerald, what do you think about that one?
He's in the tow right now, so there isn't actually you can't keep it flat all the way around, otherwise you end up in the wall. But obviously at the same time,
does it save you some fuel?
Oh, it definitely does, because the way that fuel usage is calculated on iRacing is through the position of your throttle pedal. So, obviously, the further onto the floor your throttle pedal is pressed, the more fuel you therefore use.
So is it not? I mean, it doesn't seem like he's wanting to take that P2, right? It seems to me an opportunity, just as Will mentioned, like he gets close and he's like, no, he lifts off a little bit. Is that because he's happy to stay here?
I'm also trying to figure it out myself, but obviously I'm hearing the game through headphones right now. I can hear that every single corner he's scrubbing those rear tires. The car's starting to loosen up a bit, and his tires are getting slippier. I'm wondering if we're starting to get to the point into tire deg where he's struggling to keep that speed around a corner.
And what is if he tests a gamble in boxes and nobody else is going to box behind him, he's going to be all alone on the track. So is he just praying that the other two drivers up the road box?
I think what they're all going to be praying for right now is a yellow, which means they can all practically...
Frankie's gone in, so the Spaniard's gone in, as well as it looks like Ethan has. And we've had some pretty good green flag racing right now, Will, haven't we? So what do you think as Alex right now? Alex Richardson is leading this race from Kevin was on pole. Now, Alex has got the biggest decisions on his shoulders, doesn't he? What does he do?
He really does. He's leading this pack right now. He's done a great job of leading this race throughout. But you've seen what he's done there with that lead, Biggles. He's worked different lines. He's basically playing follow the leader at the top of the race, and he's spinning now.
Yeah, but everybody follow him. Nobody's following him in. Alex is all alone. He's better hoping to get a tow out here. Otherwise, he's in big trouble. And speaking of which, maybe Kevin Stam's in big trouble because Kevin is putting pressure on right now for that P2 position, maybe trying to get it on. And Alex, it's not a yellow, but no, and he's stuck alone on this track. We saw Ethan going in.
Now, could he be playing that gamble, though, Biggles? Just in case he heads on pit road by himself and a caution flag does fly, he would be the only car out on the track, seeing as though he gets his pit stop out of the way.
Massive gamble as Ethan couldn't get it, almost slides into there and doesn't slide in the pit lane. Hits the only blue marker in there and damages the DHL car and says, well, unfortunately, my friend, you weren't quite FedExing your way into the pit lane. Here is first pun. But here it is. Kevin Stam leading from Kevin. That was Kev's battle. And that's it. What is going on? Now, Alex Richardson's going to come out by himself on the track. Look at the 11 dot on the screen, on the track map. That's the 11 dot. He's by himself. He has nobody to tow from. And in fact, he's come back out, and there's the leader behind him. So he's still ahead. But that is... okay, Kevin Burrell's gone in. And one of the Italians has gone in. Harkin's gone in. So let's see how this pans out. Because, of course, both the Italians probably elected not to go out to test that strategy. 3720. Good green flag racing. Let's see how it's all going to pan out here now.
And now, Biggles, my point that I have to make here is a point that Gerard just said about the tires starting to lose from these drivers here. With those new sets of tires on Alex's race car now, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. He can go full throttle around this racetrack. He doesn't have to let off anymore. He can let that thing fly around Indy. And with that, even though he is by himself currently on the racetrack, having no worries on your mind here on lap 37 allows you to push that thing to the limits.
You got to push it to the limits. Yeah, because look at this. Alex is on P7. Look at this. He's in the opposite side of the pit lane right now. Look at the P7 on the map to your top right. And the other leaders have gone in. So Kevin Stam's gone in. Remember, he was racing with him. Danilo has gone in. He was racing with him. They're exiting the pit lane very soon. Let's have a look. 7 columns around turn 4 right now. Flat on the power. Alex Richardson, 22 car. Well, are they exiting the pit lane? I'm not quite sure they are. I think he's going to be flat speed past them. They are exiting. That's Kevin exiting. Can he get the power? Kevin to the left-hand side right now. Can he get past Kevin?
And he's going to with ease right there around the corner. And he right there, I just saw he ran a 40 flat last time around, so he is putting that thing on max speed right now around this racetrack, knowing that he has the fresh set of tires. It's going to take the rest of the field to get warmed up on their new set of freshies here right now on lap 38. So Alex is really loving life now on the top of the grid.
Alex has got a 2-second gap to everybody by undercutting him. Brilliant job there, because the battle right now is between Kevin Stam and, well, it's Kevin Burrell. Yeah, both the Kevs are at it again. Alex is like, okay, Kevs, go for it. 2 for now. Give me a bit of a gap at the moment. His gap is about 1.8. So Brilliant strategy from Alex has paid off. How can the Kevins manage this one? P6, P9. Remember, they're provisionally in this race because the other drivers are going to be boxing soon. Paulo Lopez, Bart, Stefan, and Benito has gone into pit lane. These are your leaders. Alex is essentially leading this race right now from Kevin Stam and Kevin Burrell. And as you can see, Kevin Burrell is wanting to get something done about Kevin Stam. Alex, what a move. He's got 1.7 now because he's braking the air by himself. I have to say, the undercut has worked on lap 40 so far.
It really has here, Biggles, but now keep an eye out on that lap count because we saw these tires start to go around lap 33, 34, 35. We saw the drivers head down to their boxes around lap 38, 39. So keep an eye out around that 70 lap range, 75 lap range if we start to see these problems arise again on the racetrack. And that's really crunch time there, Biggles. That's only with 50 laps to go. So if you get loose, you slide sideways, that could really cost you your race with only 50 laps to go.
And considering we had those pace cars early, you never know when the pace car is going to throw a spanner in the mix, is it? That's just the way it goes here in Indianapolis. That's why you love this motor racing. Of course, it's the best motor racing. It's the greatest spectacle in motor racing in the world. And Kevin Stam is putting on the laps, setting the fastest lap at the moment, trying to keep the other Kevin behind him by about 8/10. And Frankie, go back to Frankie in P8, putting a bit of pressure on the Italian driver right now. That's going to be another key. Spaniards versus the Italians. Good to see that one. Frankie Braccacino there in P8 putting pressure on. We're seeing Paulo Lopez still staying out there. Stefan Hoffman's gone the pit lane. This is the battle right now. This is the young Spaniard, of course, there of Frankie Braccacino. And he's got two Italians to deal with. If he gets past one, of course, and this one up the road here, the number 14 car, then he has another Italian to deal with. And I'll tell you what, Italians are not easy drivers to deal with in motor racing.
No, I have to say that's the most cohesiveness I've seen out of drivers throughout iRacing. I call races all week long. The way these Italians work here in this IndyCar series, they could be, it doesn't matter where they are on the grid, they will shut the door on you and not allow you to get by. And if you do get by one of them, the other will make sure that you don't get by them as well. And if they do, if you manage to get by both of them, because we saw what happens there, they'll split you on the front stretch.
Oh, yeah, I love it, and we love it. It's like you can't get away from pizza or pasta, can you? It's just tasty, and their racing is even tastier. As we're going to see Paulo Lopez go on the pit lane and drop a little bit back behind all this. Alex is back in the lead of this race there from Kevin Stam and Kevin Burrell. And there's the Italiano crew of P5 and P6. And Frankie now trying to break up the Italian party here in Indianapolis, here in IndyCar Racing, race 5.
You see him right there. He is trying to break it up right there, but he is trying to catch up to Alex Richardson. Kevin Stam is right there. We saw the runs that he was having there, but we also saw that strategy of him starting to let off just a little bit. Now he's going to try to make a move on our race leader right now. Is this the leader? You see right now going down to 1 and 2. See if he has it. He has those runs on the front stretch.
He's going for it, and that's a surprise because you remember Alex had a 1.7 gap out of the pit lane. Now Kevin's reeled him in. He's like now, Dutch Courage, remember? Dutch Army. Orange Army, of course, Orange 61 car, trying to get it done on Alex Richardson, saying, I'm here, I'm in town. Kevin Stam, welcome to IndyCar Racing.
Now, we saw what Kevin was doing, essentially, quote-unquote, babying the tires there as the tire wear was starting to add up, but we also saw the speed out of that race car. He was having to let off, essentially brake, but now he's going to try to make a move on Alex Richardson down into corner number 1. He goes to the outside, see if he can overtake right now. They are side-by-side on the exit of the corner, going down into 2, and Alex gets a little loose, and Kevin takes the lead.
Yeah, Kevin says, bang, boom, welcome along. The Dutch are back. It used to be called New Holland, but it's New York right now. But even going further inland, of course, it's Indianapolis. And the Dutch are absolutely back to the Dutch Army. And I'll tell you what, there is orange in the audience and there's flares firing off. Kevin Stam in the lead of this race, number 61 car on lap 45.
Now, you've seen the difference now with Alex heading down pit road before the rest of the field. It puts more wear on the tires. Now, on this run, Kevin Stam has those fresher tires, and you see the speed that makes the difference here tonight. And now, Alex Richardson might even lose another spot to Kevin Burrell, as Kevin has a run right now on Alex.
Kevin has the audience cheer, hasn't he? He's got the, the American audiences there. Start blowing some trumpets there. Say, yo, Yankees are back in town, of course, 52 car.
You see right now, you see if he can maintain this momentum around the racetrack. Alex is starting to feel it now with those tires, although he made a good strategy to stay out or get in the pit box before everybody else, and they're working their way around a lap car right now. That's basically going to put a gap between him and keep momentum for just a moment. That was very close on the entry of one. Alex is going to be able to maintain that second position for just a few laps.
Kevin wants it back. He can hear it. You guys can't hear it out there, but we can hear the audience cheering like mad. The American drivers are going absolutely ballistic for this man. He's going to get past the lap car, of course, but he needs to keep Alex in bay there. That's Kevin Birrell we're watching right now. The number 3 position, the 52 car, wanting to take this one back at the moment. He's only got one little problem. It's called the British invasion. It's called the red coats a little bit up the road. He wants to get past him. He wants to please the audiences, and trust me, he's got plenty of time to go. 48 of 120. Let's go back further to our championship leader at the moment, Benito Blavier, the 759 car. And once again, he's involved once again in the old school Stefan.
And caution's out on the racetrack.
It's Alex Richardson, I believe, has crashed. We'll get a replay of that one. Now, Alex Richardson was running about P7. So what's happened to the British driver?
And you saw Alex when he had that overtake for the lead, when he got overtaken for the lead, excuse me, we saw him get a little loose. So it could have been something going wrong with that race car.
Yes, exactly. Our race leader has just was it a race leader? Something has gone on. Barney's not happy. He's waving he's waving a yellow flag. And we'll get a replay of that one in a second, because it's unfortunate for Alex Richardson, because remember, he was the man that qualified on P2 for the United Kingdom, and now big trouble in Little Indianapolis. We get a replay of that one, Mr. Director. I know you're working on that one at 49 of 120. We are in yellow flag conditions. Kevin's the battle again, the Kevs, and then the Italians. Frankie hanging in there. Of course, we don't forget about our Norwegian driver, Haken, Paul Lopez. Don't you cannot call it Paul Lopez. Have a look at Alex here right now. What's happened in 22 car? Remember, Alex is running, I believe, what was he, P2 at this point, or P3?
Yeah, he was starting to slide a little bit there in two ways. He was sliding on the grid, and he was sliding here on the racetrack. Take a look at what happened to that 22 machine of Alex Richardson.
Oh, they both at the wall.
Off the corner, yeah.
Bang. That hurts. And look at the bits of carbon fiber flying across into the other cars. He's got to be gutted. He says no limits racing. Yeah, a little bit too much of the limit of racing for the number 22 car there of Alex. But, hey, yeah, believe it or not, you still have plenty of time to get it done. This is a long race. You have 72 laps of racing to go. You never know. Kevin's going in. Frankie's going in. It's a pit lane carnage right now if we go live pitches.
Yeah, right there. And I'm hearing on the radio, too, that he may have lost his right front tire there. So that could cause that ability to kind of just coast up into that wall. And once you tap that wall, it's very disastrous here in these race cars. But right now, a few drivers are heading to their pit boxes. And if you look at that lap count there, Biggles, we are on a lap, I believe, around lap 50 or so right now on the racetrack. So about 20 laps from that window that I was talking about. But it's still good to get those set of freshies on that race car.
Is the Italian stayed out, Kevin stayed out, Kevin Stam. But Stefan Hoffman's gone in. We need to, I'm looking at Kevin Barrow's gone in. I think Harkin's gone in. Frankie's gone in. Stefan's gone in. So there's an interesting pit stop strategy between all these other drivers. Paulo Lopez, believe it or not, currently running in P6. The Portuguese driver's taken 4 pit stop visits, currently running in P6. So I'm sure his advantage is going to be working out for him. Let's have a look. 49, yeah. And yeah, so look at those last laps. So last laps are Paulo Lopez. He's probably the one leading the freshest boots or the freshest fuel, and then everybody else ahead of them, 37, 37, 36, 35. They're the ones that are going to be under a little bit of pressure, as well as Bart maybe in P5. So at some point, Kevin Stam and both the Italian drivers have to do something about their pit stop strategies. But we're 50 of 120, not even halfway through our second oval race here at Andy Store Racing. It's been good. Now, we won't mention, obviously, Texas, right, mate? Because we had a lot of the old caution cars, but we get green flag racing right now again here in Indianapolis. Welcome along, Kevin leading from the Italians.
Yeah, Kevin's going to lead those Italians around the track right now, but it won't be long until those Italians fight for the lead right there. But Biggles, as you were mentioning, they still have to figure out what they're going to do as far as that pit strategy here on lap 51. I'd say they have about 18 or 17 laps on those tires before it starts to get a little wiggly on the track here right now. And we'll see right now what those guys with those fresh sets of tires can do on this grid right now. But we're looking at Bart. He's up a bunch of positions on the grid, and we're 3 wide down the front stretch.
You don't want to go through one of the 3 wide. You can't go through one. Look at the tires in the background. But here it is. Bang, Kevin. There's also a lap car there. There's Dalelo. And there's lap cars in play. So keep an eye on this one. Kevin Stam's leading this race. He's the one that's in the third on the picture there. And then behind him is the Italians, and then Daleo says, you know what? You're taking too much time. Bye-bye. And both his teammates going to go through as well. And there it is, the Italian 1-2, taking it to the Dutch drivers and leading this race.
And there's still a battle for second ensuing right now. Kevin Stam's not giving up on it just yet. As you see, he is fighting for position, but he loses that position on the exit of 4. The Italians are now 1-2 on the grid, heading down to corner number 1.
Taking advantage of the back markers, of course. We're on board with Kevin Stam. He can see that's the second Italian driver. And don't worry about the other cars on the road. They are lap cars. Kevin Stam wants it back. He's not a happy camper. The Dutch are not happy, of course. And why not? Because they won championships before the pass. They don't want Italians to win it. Alec Boss is hunting in the background as well. But both the Italians, the Old Dog Racing teams, you can see the same liveries. Also, a lap car in there. What are we looking at the moment? Kevin Stam. Got him a little twirly. Well, actually, Kevin's got a little bit of an issue there with the traction.
Yeah, and you saw that move as Doriano right there just threw that tail right in front of Kevin. But now Kevin has a battle on his hands right now as the driver's going to go to the inside. He has a driver to the outside right now. He's trying to hold on to this third position. Oh, man.
There's Alec Van Bossen that had to avoid him right now. Thankfully, he ghosted back in the pit lane to save everybody the opportunity of not getting a massive crash. Another yellow, of course, another caution. But that was absolutely fantastic. Let's look at the replay.
And we were 3 wide right there. I thought it was Kevin Stam that hit the wall there. Those paint jobs are really throwing me for a loop. But we see right here, as you see, a driver's going to go to the inside of Kevin. You see Alec right there as well. You see what ensues there for the position on the track. Right now, they're still clean, still clean, still clean. It looks like Alec just makes contact with the outside wall there.
A little bit too greedy, I believe, on the gas pedal. But hey, is this not a representation of the Italiano duo? What are they doing? Is it not the second time in this race that we've seen they've both done a double overtake?
It's amazing. Right there. And you saw
They're now
them
both leading this race.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, they have slowly but surely worked their way up the grid. Actually, one of them started outside of the top 10, I believe in the 12th position, and they've worked their way. They've linked back up together here in this grid. They went from 6th to 7th, 4th to 5th. They have slowly just kind of hopscotched their way up the grid with huge moves on the racetrack, including that move from Doriano right there to throw that tail in front of Kevin on the front stretch there to go 1-2 on the grid. It's going to be very, very difficult for anybody to knock them off that 1-2 position right now.
You're absolutely right. Well, remember I said at the top of the hour, at the start of the race, I said, watch out for those Italians that are lurking in the background, right? They were just in the background. They weren't on the front rows. They were just hanging in there. Look how that strategy's paid off. They just worked together brilliantly. It's amazing how well. You got to remember, too, that they took different pit stops, and now they're taking a pit stop. So there it is. The number 56 car of Danilo is going into the pit lane. His teammate's staying out. And what's interesting is that how they balance it out, because somehow, even with these pit stops, they're so separate on track, and yet these cautions bring them back together. They're like Siamese twins. I actually want to confirm in chat whether or not they are brothers or something. They got to be blood brothers because they're so tuned in on the track together when they're racing.
It is very impressive there, Biggles. And although you might see one staying out and the one heading down pit road, this all is a strategy from them. This isn't a coincidence that you're seeing here on the racetrack. This will play out here in the next, I'd say, 15 or 20 laps. You'll see them back together here on the racetrack. Then you'll see one head down pit road. It's all plays into the strategy here at Indy.
What I love, of course, is my Portuguese buddy there, Paulo Lopez, 4 pit stops at the moment there. And hey, we all know you never count out Paulo Lopez. Paulo Lopez is always the one that's like quietly achieving positions every single race. There's drivers that do that. If you're focused, obviously, you guys out there, thank you very much for following Any Store Racing. If you've seen these racing seasons in the past, it's the drivers that just, you know, you never talk about them too much, right? The camera's never really focused on them. All of a sudden, they're in P3. All of a sudden, they're in P4. All of a sudden, they're on the podium. It's those achievements that work brilliantly. They just claw their way back. And Paulo Lopez, once again, look at this. P2, 7 positions gained, has taken 4 pit stops, more than anybody else currently on the grid, and hanging in P2.
Yeah, right now.
Don't mess with the Portuguese, mate.
No, he needs this sort of run too right now, Biggles, because right now he is 6th in the points table with around 91 overall points in this halfway mark. He needs to do this, but we're about to go green flag racing here once again from Indianapolis.
But putting pressure on a course at the moment, Paulo Lopez. But look at that, Kevin Burrell wants it back in hometown hero. It's got the Norwegian driver at the moment, Kevin Stam, dropping a couple of places, trying to come back into that, claw his way back into this one on the pit stop, the 61 car there for the Dutch driver. But the Italian leading from the Portuguese driver, and Bart, of course, it was mentioned, 18 positions gained. You can't give it to the 21 driver car. We know it was called out there a little bit before there by Mark. He's doing a damn good job as his rookie season here in the IndyCar ASR.
Yeah, Bart is up 18 positions from the drop of the green flag right now. Trying to work on even more positions right there, trying to get around Paulo Lopez for that second spot on the racetrack. Doriano still leading the way here right now. One of those Italian drivers we were just talking about not too long ago right now. But Biggles, we are creeping up towards the halfway mark, and we are under caution once again.
Aiden Young has crashed, unfortunately. I think there's a bit of an accident there. So an American driver, of course, and one of our casting, Aiden Young, course 429 car. It's 427 car. Aiden, what have you done, Aiden? Aiden, I loaned you this car, remember? It's insurance on this one, mate. And there's non-refundable insurance. What's happened to we love Aiden, but what's happened to Aiden? That's tapping the wall. Whoa. Yeah, okay, so he tapped the wall, did a little bit of a loss of speed, cars behind him's hit him, did a little bit of a jump. There are no hydraulic jacks on these cars, so it's not like a Death Row Records Snoop Dogg Dr. Dre video. That's right, there's no hydraulic jacks on these cars. Ain't no party like a Indianapolis Tea Party. And yeah, this is unfortunate. Leon's also crashed. What's happened? Robin's crashed. Oh.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because Leon was in a part of that bike. Liam Kerr, unfortunately, is out of this race, I believe. So anyway, the Italianos. But how about Paulo Lopez? I have to say, Paulo Lopez, what are they going to do, but can you show us the last pit stops, please, there, Mr. Producer? Because we need to see as the thunder is starting to definitely come down here in Panama. No, thunder's coming down here in Indianapolis, apart from Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, if you're going to go to NASCAR on that movie. But here it is what it is, lap 59 of 120. So almost one lap away from halfway through the race. Now, we've had a couple of cautions, but nowhere near the cautions that we had, obviously, in Texas, did we there, Will?
No, and the caution started to rain down. We were kind of getting to where getting a little frustrated to start this race. It was like basically a quarter of a lap. Then we had a tremendous green flag run. But now it seems as though that transition from corner number 1 and 2, as we see they're heading down pit road here. Paulo is going to stay out by himself here on the track.
Paulo's done that before, and why not give it a shot? So when the Italian drivers are in, Bart's in. That's a good thing. They should be able to catch up to the rest of the back of the pack. We got lap cars, of course. So Alec is in P13. He's lapped. And then the rest of the drivers are either out or in pit lane doing some repairs. So I think we're down, if not mistaken, to about, give or take, about 11 or so drivers here on 60 of 120. Guys, you want to be able to finish Indianapolis? It's kind of like one of those little pop-up achievements that occur, right, when you're playing a game. It says, I finished Indianapolis. You can get that one on your Steam profile.
You want to put that underneath your belt right now, but we see, as I was saying, coming off of corner number 2, that's basically where we're seeing the majority of our cautions ensue now. Something about this corner, we spoke about it off air as well, that being a tricky transition right there from 2 down this stretch into 3 and 4. We see the drivers that are just tapping that outside wall on the exit of 2. It's causing just a chain reaction behind them.
Guess who's back as well? Alex Richardson. Look at that. All of a sudden, he's back in P3. As well as Kevin Birrell. You see, you can't get rid of these drivers that are quick. They're always in these races, regardless of what's thrown at them. They can still find their way back, and we're only halfway through the race. So it doesn't even matter if they crash into the safety car, caution car right now, and then just like go on the pit lane for an hour. They'll still find a way to get back in the grid. That's what great drivers do.
Yeah, and you see Hulk back in the mix as well, but we see that pace car pull off. We're going to go grade 5 racing here once again. This is round number 5 of the IndyCar Series, brought to you by Anti-Stall Racing. And here we go. Paul Lopes going to take us down to corner number 1.
Paul Lopez is leaving Kevin Birrell, the man that started on pole at the moment, representing the United States of America in IndyCar. And he's got Frankie, the Spaniard, as well as our Norwegian driver that was leading this championship early there. Kevin Stammer is putting pressure on him in P6. Here it is, Paul Lopez, the Portuguese powerhouse, leading from the Americano powerhouse. Let's see, Alex Richardson can do anything about it, because Alex Richardson is the one that's been bringing it to Kevin Birrell so far on lap 61 here in Indianapolis.
But you see right there, you see that hand movement out of Alex Richardson in that cockpit. You see that he's having to fight that race car a little bit. There's a little bit of a wiggle happening right there from that 22, and the caution flag is out once again.
Somebody in the back has crashed, and I believe it was Alex. Oh, we might have lost we've lost the old dogs. What's happened here? Alex has crashed, and I believe it's caused an accident to evolve these 2 cars behind. Have a look at this. So we're looking at Alec Van Boss. He's made a mistake. He's hit the wall. I guarantee you here. Bang. He's gone in, turned in, killed one of the old dogs. Bang. There's the Italian, one Italian down. And it was he's pushed him back onto the track, like injury to insult right there. Not that he's planning on doing it, of course. It's just the way physics works. And that means one Italian's down. Oh, all right. So that's interesting, and that'll definitely be a penalty. I have to say something like that. I'm going to judge that one, but that's very unfortunate.
And if we could rewind that just a little bit, that was on that transition that I was just speaking about on that last caution flag came out. And you see right there, it's on the exit of 2. He's coming down to that backstretch. He's going to make contact with that topside wall. And with that contact, it causes a chain reaction on the entry of 3 right there before they hit that long stretch. And that's crazy to see that this corner now is giving these drivers fits. And we're basically already past halfway.
He can't get this car hooked up, can he? What's happened to Alex Richardson here? Actually, Alex is in P2. So, yeah, Kevin's gone in. So, the United States, Kevin has elected to take a pit stop. He's going to be alone, perhaps. Let's have a look at the American driver. Currently, at the moment, the man that had set the fastest time around Indy, the 52 car, is in pit lane. And he's going to drop like a stone. Now, he won't be dropped a lap down, but he is going to be definitely having to do a bit of work at the moment. There you can see him at the moment in the pit lane, entering it from P11. You can see that red dot be exiting the pit lane right now. Back out on track. No, yeah, he is. He'll catch the pack, and he'll have either fresh boots or fresh tires. Alex out there in chat is using high FBB and stiff set. Yep. I have no idea, my friend. I'm not a driver, but obviously you guys know what you're talking about.
He's saying he uses high force feedback and a stiff setup, which is why you can see his hands moving.
Oh, thank you very much there, Gerald, our producer, as well as driver.
I do believe he just gave us a little wiggle as we were talking about him.
Good on you. Thank you very much for that. I have no idea. I know that Will does, but I don't. I see what I cast what I see, and I see good racing. All right, guys. All right. What I do not want to see more of is a few more laps under a green flag and then yellow, green flag, yellow, green flag, yellow. Let's get back to that green flag racing we had earlier. Paulo Lopez leads from Alex.
Yeah, Paulo's going to take us down to corner number 1 as we're back racing here in the IndyCar Series here. This is round number 5, the halfway point in the IndyCar Series. And Paulo with a great restart there, but it's going to lose a little bit of speed on the entry of corner right there. Alex going to try to overtake where he belongs there at the top of the grid, where he was racing at majority of this race before. Just a couple of small mistakes cost him that speed. But here comes Frankie in that 3rd position. You see Holcon up there as well. Kevin Stahl's back in the mix as well in the 5th position.
Either way, any position is good at the moment. If you can keep that car on the track at the moment, because drivers are being lapped all the way down. P1 to P11 have on the lead lap. Everybody else has been lapped. Let's see at the moment. Frankie going to put some pressure on. He's got Harkin. We're challenging him down there, and the only sole remaining Italian driver really in the moment there as the Matteo goes into the pit lane. Frankie putting pressure on right now on the Norwegian driver. Here it is, P3, P4.
Right here as they're battling out here on that transition. That's a transition that's basically eating up a bunch of drivers now in the late stages of this race. It's not going to be enough to overtake now as we head down the backstretch.
It's fun in Indianapolis if you can get it done, of course, at Alex and Paulo Lopez. And look at Kevin Stam putting pressure on Akin. You can see this in the pictures right there. Frankie is the one you're focusing on, P5. He's got the Italiano squad hunting him down big time on the inside line there. There's the Italian driver. On the outside is Frankie. Frankie might have lost that position. He certainly has at the moment. Stefan's in the background. Kevin Stam may have gained on Harkin as well, too, for P3. Paulo Lopez still bringing on Alex Richardson. This is what you get IndyCar Series and in-store racing. Round 5, Indianapolis. It's heating up. It's spicy.
It is getting mucho caliente here at Indy right now as we're single file down that backstretch down into 3 and 4 right now. Kevin Stam has done a great job of fighting back into the mix here after just a bit of trouble there just a few laps ago. Same thing with Alex Richardson, who is now our race leader on the race course.
Keep it on for Delio, the Italiano. Burning into Hakkinen. On the inside line here. Going into turn 1. Can he get it done? His teammate's way down the line after being involved in an accident. He's redemption. He wants it. But I'll tell you what, Hakken, the man that was obviously leading the first, won the first race, does not want to yield this one, and is not yield this one. He's going to have to tuck in behind. Here we go. Lap 67.
Yeah, lap 67 right now. We are past...
Something's happened there right now. Oh, the car screaming past have killed and murdered the microphone there, Will. But let's have a look at this. Hakken still wants to get this one back on Danilo. Are you back, Will? Are you alive, defibrillator? He's dead. He's dead. Look at Paulo Lopez putting pressure on our leader right now, Alex. Give it to Paulo Lopez. Paulo Lopez is putting massive pressure on.
And you see Holcon trying to hold on to that spot right up there. He needs a good finish here tonight to basically keep that run of good finishes going on here in the IndyCar Series. But right now he's trying to hold off his speed.
Lopez, I want to see the challenge for the lead of this race. That Paulo Lopez is going for it tooth and nail. He's going for it. He wants this lead. He's taking Alex Lopez. Can he get it done?
He gives him that wiggle right there as we head down the front stretch. This is a battle for the lead on the entry of 1. Alex Richardson's trying to hold on there as we come around 1 right now. He's going to hold position on the transition down into 2 right now. So our race leader on the track as we head down the backstretch.
He's going to get it done somewhere. Kevin Stam's hunting him down the back right, of course, with that battle you saw. Here, weaving, trying to break the slipstream. He's weaving, because you can't weave too much. You're going to make your way into turn 3. Into turn 4 coming at the moment. There's Paulo Lopez is going to be going. Can I visit Barney before I visit anybody else? Let's see. Get the powerhouse there. Go on, Paulo Lopez, the 88 car. I would love to see that, producer, please. Because he's got the powerhouse on the left-hand side right now is Alex Richardson. Is he going to stick it to the outside? Is he going to tuck it behind? He will tuck it behind in turn 1. Well, Will, I know you're dropping everything right now. And, yeah, I hope your heart rate's up because this is pumping.
Oh yeah, this is pumping here on the track. We have a battle for the race lead right now on lap 70. They are racing like it's the final lap, but you see Alex trying to cut those lines right there to cut that air coming off the race car right there down into 3. He is leading the way right now. As you see, though, Paulo has the speed onto 4 right now. He's going to lose a bit of speed right there as the caution flag is out.
Because the yellow's broken up, and what's happened back here? Aiden Young has been involved in an accident. I think an Italian driver at the moment. That's it. Aiden Young has made a mistake, and I guarantee the full Danero Ricciardi is going to be another incident victim into this. There it is. Bang. Oh, it's the second time now he's been involved in these accidents. He must be frustrated. Whatever he's screaming right now in Italian, I guarantee you is this. I can't translate that, unfortunately. It wouldn't be fair. It's a family stream. He's not a happy camper at all. Oh, why did you lose it right there, my friend? We were getting such a hyped moment for this race. Of course, Aiden didn't prepare. Like, there's no crash gate scandal. He didn't prepare that to have happen. But wow, Will. I mean, I know that things are breaking on your end at the moment for casting. How is this going for you?
Man, this is wild here on my side. I know I had a little bit of a break there. I couldn't tell until it said USB device disconnected here on the racetrack. But right now, the one thing that is not disconnected is Alex Richardson's speed there at the top. Although we saw before that yellow flag decided to flash here on the race course at Indy, Paulo had that speed to get around Alex, so now they're going to pit together, keeping an eye out on this battle here in the late stages of this race.
Kevin's going in as well. Of course, I have to say they're going to follow each other in. Mr. Director, if you could possibly go back and capture the action that we had for the overtake, of course, between Paulo Lopez and Alex. That was exciting, wasn't it? Absolutely. You guys would have to agree out there in the chat. What a green flag racing on 70, lap 70, I believe it was at the time. We'll go back a little bit. They're going to be on jumping the pit lane right now. We'll see a little bit of a change of ruse occurring. We'll see if we can get the action of what happened, because that was absolutely thrilling. This is what Indianapolis produces, of course. It will be the greatest spectacle in motor racing, and it absolutely is producing tonight. Have a look at this one, Will. Before your equipment decided to fail. Look at this.
Yeah, that was a huge move right there. You saw Alex Richardson there to the inside, overtook Paulo, but then as we started to cruise back through this green flag run, Paulo had that speed to chase down Alex, and then that yellow light flashed, and that basically killed the momentum from Paulo. And you see right there that I think this is the battle that we're going to see to close out this race. Foregoing anything else that happens on the track, I think these are the top 2 drivers we're going to see battling out for the race victory.
And he had to line that up perfectly as well to remember for that opportunity. 72 of 120. The pace car is out, of course. And the Italiano Piaziana down is back into the lead of this race there from Kevin Barrow, of course, the man that qualified on pole here in front of his home audience of, I'm going to increase the numbers. I said 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. It doesn't matter. He's going to be in P2, but he has one problemo. It's called an Italiano. 3 positions gained from Danilo. Green flag, 72.
Green flag is in the air right now, as Danilo is leading the way right here, where they've been working towards all race long to get on top of this grid. There's only one left here on the racetrack. As you saw, Donorio had an issue on the racetrack, but right now he's holding off that American and Kevin Burrell for that top spot.
Battles at the back go around as well, too. Alex Richardson, Kevin Stan, Paulo Lopez, Huckett. Big names, big clubs, big drivers. 73 of 130. Indianapolis is the one you want to win. There's a crash, and there's somebody off in the background, and that is Alex Richardson, I think, is into the fence.
And a huge wreck right there, Biggles. And we'll take a look here. There's Kevin Stom right there. Has had a great race so far here tonight. You see
it's Alex that hits the outside, bang, tap, done, and not game over essentially, but you know, you got a little work to do. Oh, what a perfect spin into the pit lane entrance. All right, I'll take that one. Somebody clip that for the not 10 highlights of iRacing, because hey, if you're going to have a spin, you're going to have an accident, do it in the pit lane entrance. Take that one. Was it? No, it wasn't. I don't know what it is. Anyway, good job. You saved it. He did save it. He's still running currently in P8. Take that one the other week. So, out there in the chat, guys, thank you very much for text. What do you guys think? Like, at this point, anybody could win. If we can show the last pit stops from these gladiators to give us an idea of when they're going to have to pit, we're 74 of 120. There you go. 55 for the Italian driver. So he's on a little bit of pressure here. You know that for a fact that he's going to have to either get a splash and dash or something. 71, the driver's on 71 laps. So Kevin Stam, Paulo Lopez, and Harkins decided to go in the pit lane on 71. Alex Richardson's on 71. Frankie's on 71. So yeah, obviously that is the last lap they boxed everybody. So, you know, they got freshest tires and fuel. It's the leaders, the top three at the moment, that have elected to stay out. That's what's going to hurt them. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I think so too. Right now, you have to calculate all your best moves here on the track, whether or not it's going to pay off for you to head down that box. But right now, taking a look at that grid, you know, Kevin Borrell has been super fast here tonight. Bart's up 18 spots. Kevin Stomps had that speed. But really the name that stands out for me right now, Biggles, is Paulo Lopez down in the 5th position. We'll see if he can carry that momentum that we've seen before these yellow flags start to drop.
It will be interesting. Gerald, any information there from down in the production booth there in the race control?
Information about what? Sorry, I was pushing buttons.
That's what you do in race control, of course, as a TV producer. But any information, any updates? We're just over 2/3 of the way through the race.
I haven't heard much from race control this time. They haven't even been typing in their usual chat room, so yeah, not much info. I think it's, you know, pretty standard. Everything we've seen on screen is what's happened so far. So most of the penalties have just been dropped to the end during cautions, which I think is a fair enough penalty for the sort of nudges and tapping that people have done to spin people out. Anything more serious will just be, oh, we're going to go green. I might leave that to you.
Yeah, we're down to about 13 drivers, I believe, in this race there. So, Will, the Italian driver will leave from the American driver here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, as the Italian's going to take us down into corner number 1. They've worked all race long to get on top of the grid. Unfortunately, there's only one left here on the race course. He's going to lead that American down into this transition, down into 2, onto the backstretch.
Bart is hunting down at the moment in P3. Kevin Stamps has a pace, but Paulo Lopez wants something to happen here for the Portuguese driver. Definitely. If he doesn't, he's got Frankie and Alex and Haken all battling out. This is a crucial P5, P6, P7 position in the inside line here. Turn 3, 2.
And they keep
5.
it clean right there for right now. We thought we were going to see disaster ensue on the racetrack, but nothing crazy right now here on lap 76. There's single file down the front stretch.
Unbelievable. 7,720. You want to get this Indianapolis win. You can't even predict it. You can't predict who could win this race. Anybody at the moment from P1 to P9 could win this race. No problemo. It's all about getting it done on the track, getting it in the cool, calm, and collective. Kevin Birrell, of course, wants to win in his home court, his home territory. The 52 car for the Round Table Racing wants to get it done, but the Italian wants to deny it from him. He's only sole remaining Italian, too. He doesn't have his teammate here to help him. But Ferguson, you have to remember, 18 positions game for the Dutch driver. In almost a debut race is delivering when he needs to deliver. He's keeping Kevin Stam, of course, the veteran, behind him in P4. Paulo Lopez, of course, is putting the pressure on there in P5. Yeah. Anything can happen here. This is called Indianapolis. It's called anti-stall racing. Do not stall when you're racing for any stall.
That's a good pun there, Biggles. But we see Kevin has that speed right now on corner number 3 right now. See if he has this run, carry it through the transition down into 4. Looks like Kevin's trying to find that speed once again. The speed he had in practice, the speed that led him to start on top of this grid. It looks like he's trying to chase down Italian on the front stretch now as we enter into corner number 1.
And then you got 2, 3, and 4, and do it all over again there for about another 42 laps, and you'll be okay to win this race. Sounds easy,
Kevin is
doesn't it?
currently faster right on the track there, Biggles. He is faster by just the smallest of margins, but is running faster
Yellow.
lap times from Danilo as we have another caution on the race course.
Yeah. Well, here it is. Let's have a look at Andy Tapman involved in another local yellow. Andy Tapman's the 25 car. Let's have a look if Andy Tapman has decided to tap the wall a little bit too much. He's gone deep here. It's going very, very deep. Yeah, it is. Andy, I told you. Buy the wallflowers. Take it out to a dinner. A nice 5-star restaurant. And then the wall will agree with you. It's simple. Don't mess with the wall. Obviously, Indy's never been married before, has he? And then forget your wife's birthday or anniversary date. That's what happens. It's called Indianapolis. I don't have a wife, nor that I would want to forget her anniversary or birthday. I'll tell you what, maybe Andy's reminding me of why you don't want to do that one.
No, as we take a look, though, Biggles, as we're under caution here, once again, this is the halfway point of the IndyCar series here at Anti-Stall Racing. And one thing that I'm keeping my eye out for here right now, Biggles, is Danilo hasn't headed down pit road until the last time he did was on lap 55. So we've kept an eye out for that throughout tonight's race, at how those tires start to go. And we're going to start to see that out of the Italian there, that tire wear come into play, because behind him you have Kevin that went down pit road on lap 62, Bart headed down lap 59, but then after him, Kevin Stamm lap 71, Paulo lap 71, Alex Richardson lap 71. Kevin Stamm's going to head down pit road here, so with Paulo and Stefan, a few drivers down that grid. But right now, Danilo is rocking about the oldest tires on the racetrack.
He's got Donero Ricciardi in the pit lane right now, probably who obviously the other old dog racing team, probably giving him some sort of spotting information. He's turned from a race driver into an engineer, trying to obviously help his Italian teammate, giving all the best information and just trying to see, because the other Italian car, obviously of that 14 car of the old dog racing, is just sitting in there at the moment. So he's going to be giving him everything he possibly can. So remember how well they worked together as teammates before? We saw those amazing overtakes and strategy. Now the strategy is going to be one driver behind a pit wall and another driver behind a wheel. So I'd imagine that is the calculation that's going on. His teammate's going to be obviously speaking in Italian, and well, if you're going to listen to, if he wins the race later on, we may very well hear the translation, of course, that we heard before in the past. If you tuned into Anti-Stall Racing, we've have translators, of course, for some of the drivers that are uncomfortable speaking English, and they'll be translated. That's something they're going to be communicating together. So they are very well, Will, on top of the situation, I'd imagine. They are very well. But you got to think about Kevin, right? Kevin Burrell, the man that qualified on pole, and he has all these American audiences there. Thousands of them there cheering the United States driver and the 52 car to win this race. So pressure's on.
The pressure is indeed on. The only thing that, like I mentioned there, for the Italian driver, we'd love to see one of the Italians get a victory here, but the green flag is out once again. He's going to lead us down into corner number 1. He has the oldest tires on the racetrack right now. See if that comes into play here in this green flag run as we start things off once again. This is the IndyCar Series brought to you by Anti-Stall Racing as we go down into corner number 1.
IndyCar turn 1, Anti-Stall Racing. Danilo, the Italian driver, leading from Kevin Burrell, the man that's qualified at pole, but be more problems will be. Paulo Lopez putting pressure on Kevin Stamm, the Dutch driver that's currently running in P3. Here we go, 82 of 120. Alex Richardson, remember, is beating the walls, but a little bit falling back at the moment. Look at these two cars there, Kevin and the Danilo, and Kevin, the other Kevin in the background. This is going to be spicy.
Kevin's the new leader on the racetrack right now. He is leading the way here down the front stretch. Kevin Burrell, the American, as the crowd goes wild. He is leading the way here at Indianapolis, but there goes the Italian to the inside, down at the corner number 1. He's going to overtake with ease on the apex of 1, coming to that transition for 2.
And the crowd just went, to a gasp before, they've gone down there. Kevin Stamm, keep an eye out for Kevin Stamm at P3. That's the Dutch flying army here, the orange army. Go on board with Kevin if we can at the moment there, Mr. Director. I want to see how it is to be in P3 here. While you see the two cars up the road racing into 83 into the final quarter, lap 4 here of Indianapolis. How's he going to feel? We're going to overtake, and if you can overtake, where? Let's see. But you know, at the moment, Kevin Burrell's tires are a little bit sketchy, and Danilo's tires are a little bit sketchy. Here we go. A run into turn 1. The Italiano getting it down to the Americans. Can they shut the audience up with the Americans and stop the cheers? They certainly can. Italians are back.
As we head down the backstretch right now, the Italians leading the way here on top of the grid. But there goes Kevin once again. He has that run once again, and the yellow flag is out here on lap 84.
And Frankie, unfortunately, may have caused a caution car there for the 98. Let's have a look at the Spaniard. Maybe not so much smooth operating. This looks like he's going to go deep into the wall here. I think we've seen this before in the past, haven't we? Yes, we have. Bang. There it is. So tricky out of that corner. Ooh. Hey, it looks easy on stream. You go, why don't you just turn a little bit more? Well, guess what? Welcome to iRacing. Welcome to Indianapolis. Not as easy as it looks. And if you really want to try it, guys, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, click the link underneath here, the Discord link. Sign up and be a part of the party. Because it is difficult. It's motor racing. But hey, the better you get, maybe one day you'll be on the top step there drinking some milk here in Indianapolis. But we would love to have you on. Anybody, right? Any race. You don't have to be like an esports world's best driver to be a part of this league. Join, and there's plenty of members in the community that help you out to teach you to get a little bit better at driving, and there's plenty of different racing leagues to help you out, right? I mean, geez, they even taught me how to drive a safety car around a track, so what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the best leagues so far here. A lot of different opportunities to race for anti-stall racing. We have this series here, we have a sports series, all sorts of different ways to get into this style of racing. And Biggles, I would have to say, if I was to fire up my iRacing simulator and get my wheel going here, I think the Indy cars, they look a little fun on the tracks. Yeah, I like the open wheel concept.
All right, I've ridden shotgun with you before to the airport, and you got us under there in like record time. So I'll take that one at the end of the week. We got record time again, of course. So we're all going pit lane right now. Bang, 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 bang. Now we know Gerald's down there in the pit lane, of course, our producer. Now Gerald, busy down the pit lane. What's happening so far? And I know you're a massive part of NA Racing. How are you feeling at the moment about Indianapolis?
Yeah, I mean it's been insane. Well, for the entire race so far, but what I really enjoyed then was Paolo making a feint towards the pit lane and then choosing not to at the very last second to trick everybody else to go in without him.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah,
but then again, he's got some old boots in there. But remember, Paulo Lopez has been in the pit lane 5 times. Nobody else in the field, apart from Miguel and Mateo, has been down there, and Mateo's a lap down. So whatever Paulo Lopez, the Portuguese driver, is doing is paying off. What else is have you heard anything from race control, Mr. Gerald?
I'll quickly check. No,
and Mr. Gerald as well. If you were out there at the moment, do you think you could be putting in these 1:28-minute lap times?
Honestly, I haven't driven the track for a very long time. The last time I did this was last year's Indy 500. So yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously with maybe a week of practice, but not right this second.
And Will, when's the last time you drove an IndyCar around here?
Oh man, it's been a minute for sure. But Gerald, I have a question for you, my man. As we look at the top 3 drivers on the grid right now, the last time they headed down pit road was lap 71, 71, and 74. Now, who's going to have the more advantage here on this green flag run that we're going to have to close out this race? Because after that, the drivers have just went down pit road. Who's going to have the bigger speed here? The drivers that stayed out or the drivers that got new tires here on the long run?
I don't think it's going to be hugely different, but there's one thing for sure, and that's that we're still going to have to see at least one more pit stop.
Well, Joe, what you're going to have to see at the moment is a bit more Barney waving the green flag race, because we are 87 of 120. Paulo Lopez leads from Alex Richardson, Harkin Grabstab, and the Italiano army is in P4. Kevin Stabber, keep an eye on him. Actually, Kevin Stabber at the moment is going on Kevin Barrel. So the Kev Battle 2.0 is resuming here in Install Racing.
When you see Paulo trying to cut those lines right there on the transition, Alex is trying to follow him around, but Paulo is not allowing him to do so. And with that, it gives Paulo the lead there on the exit of 3, excuse me, now down into 4 right now. Paulo still leading the way, but Alex was trying vigorously to get around Paulo. Paulo wasn't having it, and he's doing it again here on the front stretch.
Paulo's not going to give us one up. He's done many, many years of IndyCar racing leagues, and he knows exactly. It doesn't matter what car you put this Portuguese driver in. He will drive the pants out of it. He will put the Portuguese flag, and he will drive it with pride. He will defend with pride. He's not going to allow any British driver of Alex Richardson to get past him any day of the week, of course. And look at this right now. Lap 88, and he is putting that car in all the right places. Welcome to Portugal. Welcome to Indianapolis.
He's trying to represent for his home country right now here at Indianapolis. It's basically a 2-car battle here at the top of the grid, but you see the moves that Paulo is making here on the front stretch. He knows Alex is faster on the exits of the corner, but with that, he is cutting that line to make sure he can't pull himself up to get around Paulo.
He did a dummy in the pit lane again as well, too, I think, at that one. Try to catch Alex off, but Alex is not Alex is sharpest tool in the shed. You can't trick Alex like that, all right? The 22 car. He's been around the block a few times. Alex is in the same place that he's been starting this race before, but Paulo Lopez is obviously in the +8 territory after starting down in the field. But then again, they are on the same tires. They both boxed on lap 71, so it is really even wheel-to-wheel racing. And they're, of course, going to allow this pack behind them on fresher boots as they weave their way down the main straight into turn 1.
Yeah, as you see, Paulo's leading the race right now. Now I'm starting to see there if there's any differential between these drivers that head down pit road here on lap 71 and other drivers that waited to pit there just on that last pit stop. And looking at those lap times, there's not much difference here on the racetrack. The only fastest driver other than our race leader right now is Kevin Stom and Kevin Burrell, but they are further down the grid right there in the 5th and 6th position. So a little bit out of the race right now, but as this race ticks down, we'll see if that tire battle comes into play.
And they're going for it. If we go to pictures to them, of course, you can see them running for P3, P4, P5, and P6. You can see them in that slipstream. Of course, that slipstream has been held by Hakan Grabstab, and they're going to try to tow it because Hakan's 1.5 seconds away from that battle you saw between Paulo and Alex Richardson. So this is the battle for P3, P4, P5, and they're getting that tow. We all know familiar territory. Out to see Stefan Hoffman's back into this one as well, which is fantastic. Hanging in there for the old school McLaren Marlboro livery car. And Bart also hanging in here as well, which is fantastic. Bart, of course, gained 13 positions, I believe, is his debut race, doing fantastic. But Alex Richardson might be making a run right now on Paulo Lopez in turn 1.
Yeah, and Alex Richardson just ran a 41.12. Absolutely one of the fastest cars on the racetrack right now, but you see Stefan Holman just ran a 41.07 as well. So these lap times are getting faster and faster as these laps are ticking down. But there goes Alex. He's trying to make that move, but is not having it as we enter corner number 3.
This is critical time. Good green flag racing on 92 of 120. Remember, there's about 30 laps to go, 29 laps to go, if not in change. And there's the breakaway, the top 2, separated by almost 2 seconds down to Hakan Grabstab. So this is it. Does Paulo Lopez want to hold off a little bit here? Does he want to hold off the Brit? Remember, the Brit started in P2, currently running in P2. But Paulo Lopez is in territory he's never been here this evening. He's never been in the lead of this race. He's 8 positions gained. And further back at the moment, of course, there's Kevin Barrow. And Kevin wants to get it done on the Italian driver who's all by himself right now. He doesn't have no friends. And he's got the other 2 Kevins behind him, of course, the Kevin Burrell and the Kevin Stam. And Stefan Hoffman's catching this one too.
And the Italian just ran the fastest lap on the racetrack right there, a 41.15. So the Italian, Danilo, is trying to get up there to work himself back up to the top of the grid. He has the freshest tires on the racetrack right now, heading that pit road on lap 86.
And Alex is going to take it on the inside of Paulo Lopez. Sorry, here it is. And then it's up the inside there. Can the Paulo Lopez, can Alex hold it off? Alex wants this one back out. Paulo Lopez is defending for his life. He doesn't have to. Just so many laps to go, but it's just pride at the moment. It's great racing. They're weaving left and right. Paul Lopez is defending for his life like it's the last race of the championship in IndyCar racing, but it's not. But this is what you're going to see all season. Tune in and definitely hit the thumbs up and definitely hit the follow, because this is going to be a fantastic series.
Yeah, as we see this battle ensuing for the lead right there, the car that's in third position, Danilo Pizzaza right there, has the fastest lap time so far of a 41.02. So the fastest car on the racetrack is in the third position behind these two battles right now. So once these guys battle it out, watch for that third car to come up into the mix as well as we get down here and race number 5 of the IndyCar Series.
He's going to be under a second at the moment in P3. That's right. We're going to see a 7-way battle very soon. As you can see on that track map to the very right-hand side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That is where he's going to be. Stefan, of course, Bart is a little bit further down the road, but look at that. Alex trying to put pressure right now on Paulo Lopez. Obviously, the Portuguese driver is cool, calm, and collected, can hold this one off at the moment. And does really Alex want to break the win? It's difficult, isn't it, when you lead the race? There you go. Leading a race is leading a race. You get points for leading a race, don't you? And you get pride for leading a race.
And Biggles, these last 20 laps or so are going to be something fierce. We just saw the drivers behind the top two guys on the grid just run a second faster in lap time. So we're going to see quite the jumble of drivers here in the next few laps. If these lap times continue the way they are, we are definitely seeing more speed out of the drivers that just headed down pit road. These fresh sets of tires are really coming in to play a big factor in this race. As these leaders were battling out here, they now have to watch their rear view because the rest of the pack is coming.
And these drivers have started out as gladiators, but you have to win as a Centurion, because you have to be a Centurion if you want to be the sharpest, the best gladiator in town, to earn those little feathers on top of your helmet. And that's what it's all about. Man, Alex wants to tell you something about Paul Lopez. P1, P2. And that's the fact they've all caught up, as you'd mentioned. Hucken maybe dropping a little bit behind Kevin there, 1.2 and change. And Stefan in P7, you can see the spread. But look at Alex right now, riding on board the 22 car. And look at the weaving from Paulo, trying to break any chance he can getting a slipstream. What do you think, Will?
And Alex just rode a 40.9 right there. So Alex definitely has the speed on the track. Actually, the fastest car on the track that last lap by. So if you can see if the 22 can make that speed, to make that momentum to overtake Paulo right now. As we count it down, we're only about 22 laps to go right now. This is crunch time if you want to taste the milk at the end of this race.
Oh, I love to taste the milk. Maybe you got to milk whatever you can out of the engine, whatever you can out of the throttle. Fifth gear right now, we're watching from Alex. He's trying to redline it, and you can see Paulo trying to break any possibility. Sixth gear, you can see he can't get it done. Drops to 5 into turn 1. Settles there a little bit. Stress and heart rate are through the roof. He's sweating. We're sweating. Hope you guys out there in IndyCar Racing are sweating in the chat. We're at 99 of 120, and I hopefully... cross fingers, my friend. Let's high five this one. We're going to go green flag to the end.
You've said it now.
I think we might have lost Will. We might have
Oh
lost
no.
Will.
Look,
But we haven't lost
Alex.
Alex. And we haven't lost Paulo. Paulo's still covering off Alex Richardson. Alex Richardson, remember, started in P2. But the big gain for the Portuguese driver, he started in P8. And he is no way in all of his racing experience in IndyCar Racing is going to want to give away a potential race win. IndyCar is the trophy you want on your cabinet. Now, there's trophies you want in your cabinet, of course. The big three, Monaco, blah, 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 all those. But it's Indy. That trophy is worth it. IndyCar Racing race win for Paulo Lopez. But the problem at the right moment, he has the Brit, the fast Brit, and he has the 22 car Brit.
Oh yeah.
Of Mr. Alex. Are you back there, Will?
I am back here as you see Paulo trying to hold on to that lead right now with 19 laps to go. If you can continue this pace, the lap times have essentially evened out here on the racetrack. So those drivers that got those fresh sets of tires on there, that advantage has now worn off. There's no advantages on the racetrack right now. So we're seeing the battle that's going to ensue here to close things out with 19 laps to go. If Paulo can hold on to this lead and keep Alex Richardson from overtaking, we might be on board with our race winner.
You can see on the track map as approaching turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see the dots. That's how close they are. Look how far back they are to 6. And there's 9, 8, and 7. They're all over the place. This is crucial. If you box right now, it could very much be game over. It depends on if anybody else boxes, but we are green. Hopefully it'll be green to the rest of the race. 102 of 120. They go past pretty quickly, of course. Track's about 4 kilometers and change. Paulo Lopez doing what he needs to do to hold off Alex Richardson. Keep an eye out for the Italian Thunder there in P3. Kevin Birrell, of course, started on pole. He wants to finish.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
One.
Here he goes.
Paulo Lopez.
And he might get it on the entry of 1. There goes Alex Richardson to the inside right there. We hit that transition into corner number 2. He's going to ride that momentum on the inside lane there to the backstretch. See if he's going to overtake. We're side by side down the backstretch.
Paulo's still holding off Alex. Trying to do anything. Where is he parking his car? He's on the inside. There's the outside line, actually. So maybe Alex can get the exit speed out of it. No! He has actually got it. Paulo Lopez has to get anything out of here. Alex, the British driver, has done it. He's in the lead, and also it's bringing and Danilo into play there. P3 is going to come into a grabs. I would not be surprised, and I guarantee you right now, if you have your cell phones out right now, get ready for a photo finish, because this is definitely come down to a photo finish. We have 17 laps to go here in Indianapolis.
Now, Alex Richardson said, hold on a minute, Paulo is not your race winner, as that was a huge move to overtake for the top of the grid right now with 16 laps to go. We'll see if Alex Richardson, who's ran one heck of a race here tonight, can hold on to that top spot on the grid and win, cap off an incredible run here tonight at Indy.
It's gone to the pit lane. Alex has gone to the pit lane. It's fuel. Oh, no. What's going on? There's 16 laps to go. He's box. Paulo Lopez has stayed out.
Now, Paulo, we might see him
stayed out. Kevin stayed out. Both the Kevs have stayed out as Stefan. So what is going on?
Him and Paulo had the same amount of laps since the last time they pit, so we might see Paulo head down pit road as well right now here as we're counting it down. We have no idea who's going to win this race here at the end.
Yeah, that was tires and fuel. So he did both tires and fuel.
Yeah, so we got for our race producer at the moment.
Paulo's down pit road.
Paulo's in as well. So yes, I don't think they can go to the end. What do you guys think out there? Can Leo go to the end? Can Kevin, both the Kevins, of course, Kevin Birrell and Kevin Stamp, can they go to the end? Can Stefan Hoffman go to the end? Everybody else is boxing, of course. Paulo Lopez is boxing. Alex is boxing. But running in P7, I don't know what is going on, guys. What do you guys think out there?
Okay, so
in my opinion, Bagels, you have to push it. There's about a 14 lap difference between the last time that those leaders pit and the rest of the field pit. So if you want an opportunity to win this race here tonight, I'd say push it to the end. Put all your chips in the middle of the table and hope you cash in, because right now with only 13 laps to go, this is where you take that gamble.
So Paulo's pit stop was a 1/10 of a second faster than Alex's, and he did get back out in front there as well, probably due to that.
Paulo Lopez is a Portuguese pit stop, a perfecto. Exactly, and I'll remember that next time we go to Las Vegas with you, mate. I'm going to gamble on your predictions if that's going to be the case, of course, but we'll see whether or not we'll be gambling on who is going to be right. So obviously Danilo stayed out, and that's Alex Richardson at the moment coming out of the pit stop, but they're both on fresh tires, so it's a pit stop battle between him and Paulo Lopez.
That was so close there on the entry of the corner. They are glued to one another right now on the racetrack. But right now with 12 laps to go, they got some work ahead of them if they want to get back up into that 1-2 position we just saw them at there. As we see, Paulo is going to overtake Alex there to the entry of the corner. And right now, these two are battling for a top 5 place.
They are, and Kevin's also battling for P1 further up the road on older boots and older fuel. So this is going to be interesting, but keep an eye on this battle, of course. They are side by side. They're going to make their way down into turn 3 and 4 and across the pit straight entrance to start a 108 lap of 120. There's only 13 laps to go, but they have everything they need to get this done at the moment, but they need to catch these leaders if the leaders are going to box.
And it looks like Kevin Burrell is trying to put some heat on the Italian up there at the top of the grid. He is right there, about 32 tenths off the pace up at the top. He is trying to take it home for the Americans up there, and you see that gap now closing each time around up there. But right now we're watching this battle between Paulo Lopez and Alex Richardson on the track. This is for a top 5 finish.
Giving one thing they're giving us is a little bit of a highlight for the No Limits Racing team of Alex Richardson, 22, of course. He started in P2, down 4 positions at the moment, just racing with no limits. And one thing he has, a Portuguese driver, of course, that has absolutely, definitely no limits. Remember, Paulo was leading this race. He still gained 4 positions at the moment for the Portuguese driver, but they elect to take a pit stop, but we don't know whether or not the other drivers can make it to the end.
Kevin
Stam's boxing, so maybe they can't. Yeah. Let's see, and Danilo and Kevin Burrell and Stefan are still out on track. We don't know if they can make it to the end. 110 of 120. There's only 10 laps, 11 laps really to go.
Yeah, this is where you push it right here. If you're going to stay out, you might as well just stay out, race this thing to the end. No reason to head down pit road. And now right there, especially for those top 3 guys, you've already made a decision to push it to the end. And we have a car spinning on the track. See if that brings out a caution here. Nothing just yet here from race control. So racing it down with 9 laps to go.
I'm not quite sure what that was, but it is green flag. It's 11. All the 11s, 111, of course, 120. Still the battle between Paulo and Alex. Danilo and Kevin are still 2 for now at it. Stefan Hoffman's in a wall of his own. Alex Richardson may get past Paulo Lopez. Let's see if we can make it stick. Turn 1, turn 2. Oh, that's tough. Will Paulo Lopez come back at this one? Well, at the moment, we know these drivers do not have to box, but do the top 3 have to box? Can they stretch whatever they can stretch out of these cars to get this race done? Indy is the one you want to win, of course. It's the greatest spectacle of motor racing. If you want to win one trophy, this is it. Guess what, guys? 9 laps is going to prove it.
Close on the exit of the corner there as we head down the front stretch right there. Alex Richardson, I'll see the lap times right now as they are logged on the pit there. The fastest car on the racetrack is Alex Richardson with a 41.25, but they are a little ways from the top of the grid right now. And counting it down with 7 laps to go. Those leaders have no indication they're going to head down pit road just yet, but we might be watching a battle for the lead right now.
I think you can box now. No way. I mean, this pace is brilliant for these 2 drivers you're watching right now. They are lapping so much quicker than the leaders. However, the time is not on their side. 8 laps to go. And obviously, Alex is more focused on Paulo. Paulo is focused on Alex. That's the battle there between P4 and P5. And here we go. Paulo making a run. Paulo is on the outside. There's Alex on the inside. Paulo's going to sit beside, but then Paulo's going to say, I'll get a nice toe, the nice slipstream, and get it done down the main straight.
Pit road. Stefan Holman's down pit road.
Stefan's gone in. Yeah, you're right. So maybe they can't make it. So this is position gain. So now Alex and Paulo will go P3 and P4.
You see right there, that's our 3rd position on the racetrack as headed down pit road. So we might be watching that battle for the race win right now between Alex and Paulo right up here. But right now, there's still 2 drivers that are in their way. Kevin Burrell and Danilo Pizzaza right there at the top of the grid. But right now, with 6 laps to go, they either have to stay out or box right now if they choose to do so. But they are still side by side. Oh my goodness, they tapped just a little bit there. They have been side by side for almost 3 or 4 laps now.
I think I'll be side by side for another whole bunch of laps, of course, to go in this race, which is give or take about 6. Yes, that's what you want to see. Welcome to IndyCar Racing. Nothing will ever disappoint you. Grab your popcorn. Straight tables, stowed, and seats upright. Put your seatbelt on. Welcome along to the final grueling 6 laps of Indianapolis in the IndyCar series. It's going to be good. Paulo Lopez and Alex is certainly providing us all the in-flight entertainment.
But Biggles, this is a breaking statement right here. The fastest car on the track right there was Kevin Burrell with a 41.05. So even though these guys have fresher tires on the racetrack, Kevin is the fastest car on the racetrack.
What's going on in the car box now? These guys are battling it out for the final top of the step of the podium to get a little bit of taste of the milk, I guess, here in the Brickyard. That's going to be the key. Alex and Paula, this is some of the best racing you're going to see all series long. Clip some of these. I guarantee you right now, Paulo Lopez and Alex are having a big smile. And the lead is boxing. They cannot make it to the end, so this is a podium. It's a podium. Can Kevin make it to the end? Can the man that started on pole, the American driver, make it to the end? Or will these two drivers watching right now battle out for the actual ultimate top step of the podium here? We'll find out,
Kevin
won't we?
seems to be gaining more speed as he just ran a 40.9 last time by. We'll see what his lap time is right now on the track. That is just 11 tenths slower than his fastest lap time of the entire race. We'll see what Kevin posts right now. So that 40.91 was his fastest lap right now. A second faster than these two guys that we're watching here on the track with 3 laps to go. So a second faster for Kevin Burrell at the top of the grid. And he just bested his time. He just bested his time, Biggles. He just ran his fastest lap of the entire race with a 40.74.
And with 3 to go, of course, there's a bit of a back marker at the moment. And believe it or not, the back marker is actually the Old Dogs Racing Team. If we can get the pit stop strategy showing us at the moment, we only have 3 to go at the moment. And there it is. So Kevin Burrell is in. Who is that at the moment they're overtaking? Got to be a back marker, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
and Kevin's going in.
In the pit.
So this is the battle. Right now. This is the battle for the lead of the race. You're right. This is absolutely Alex versus Paulo. This is it. Who wants to win the race?
The American could not make it, even though he just bested his fastest lap time of the entire race. He cannot make the rest of the race. So right now, we're watching the battle for the race win right now between Alex Richardson and Paul Lopes.
I think you called it about 10 laps early, didn't you? But there's a car in the way. And that's not legitimate. That is a legitimate car, of course. That's the towing driver. He's in this mix as well. Remember this. This is absolutely it for the lead of the race here.
Oh. And we got 2 laps to go here, Biggles. We'll see who wants this race win more right there as Paulo Lopes has now dropped down to 3rd on your grid. Kevin Burrell is out of the race right now, even though he's still shown as the race leader. He had headed down pit road. So next time on the front stretch, this will change. We'll see Danelio Pizzaza as our race leader.
Go back to Paulo Lopez, of course, because Kevin may win this race, but Paulo Lopez has to hold off Alex. Alex wants to get this one done. He definitely wants to get this one done. It's the last lap. It's an ultimate lap at the moment. Paulo Lopez currently in P2. And Piazza in P3, believe it or not. Alex Richardson just hanging in the background, P4.
Will they catch Kevin up there, even though this is a battle for second? Kevin Burrell, still our race leader on the track. He built up enough of a lead right there. He has about a 3-second lead on the rest of these drivers. Kevin Burrell might take it home for the Americans at the top of the grid.
He done it. For the United States of America, it says, yeah! Everything's bigger and better. That. Welcome along to Indianapolis. Welcome along to Kevin Burrell. Welcome along to the 52 car. You have won the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What just
happened, Biggles? My mind is in a frenzy right there. We thought Kevin Burrell was out of this race as he headed down pit road. He must have flashed through his box because that was a quick pit stop. It put him out there with a 3-second lead, and Kevin Burrell, we thought was out of this race, comes home with the race victory here at Indy.
USA.
Yeah, he had a 3-second pit stop there, which is faster than anybody else's. So he obviously didn't do tires. It was just splash of fuel in and dash.
A 3-second pit stop for Kevin Burrell put him right back where he belongs at the top of the grid. And it didn't matter what was happening behind him because he closed the door with that 40.74, closing it out right before he headed down pit road. So he made sure to save his best for last. And he wins here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, gets to kiss the bricks and taste the milk as our fellow American wins here at Indy.
You got to be proud to be American right now, of course. Sing the United States national anthem. I guarantee you Kevin will be singing it right now. He's done it in front of his fans in his hometown. He wanted it. The man put that car on pole for a reason. He wanted to win the race, and he's definitely goddamn darn delivered that race. Doesn't matter what state you put that man in when it comes to the great states of the United States of America. It's now Indianapolis, and he's delivered. Congratulations. You are the man.
He is the man with the plan here tonight at Indy. He was the fastest car in the practice session, fastest car in qualifying. Came back at the end of qualifying to best his lap time to overtake for that top of the grid. And Biggles, we saw it here tonight. He faded just a little bit, wasn't up there in the mix with the Italians, really had to battle through it. But once he got back up at the top of the grid, we saw what he did. He best his best lap time around this course here tonight and comes home with the race victory. But I believe we're chatting with our top 3 finishers.
You would, mate, if you had 100,000 patriotic Americans in the grandstands cheering you on. That's got to give you a little bit of boost, doesn't it? That's got to gain you a 1/10 per lap. Has to.
Yes. Regrettably, I have my 100,000 patriotic Americans turned off for performance today. Sadly, even the 3090 Ti and 11700K cannot power the it's insane. I don't know what it is, but Indy Oval, of like all tracks, due to the immense amount of spectators they throw in, like I don't know what you need to run that track with like max crowds, but it is just like not possible on my PC.
Well,
so
just to let everybody know, KB has jumped in the chat, of course. That's Kevin that's won this race.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Yeah. Well, no, that's fine, Kevin. Well, you're the spotlight, my friend. And congratulations. Cheers. I mean, as you said, like, how was your... I would put a heart rate monitor on you right now. What would it be?
Woo, if quite high. It's got to be in the, like, 160 zone at least there. That was... The end, I wasn't really sure. We were talking, me and some friends, we were talking, like, at the end, I thought, obviously when the caution came out at... obviously early in the race, I'm just trying to survive until, people with a limited oval experience, let's say, remove themselves from the race. And then, once things settled down and we got going, that caution that came out, what was it, like 36 laps from the end, with the shortened cautions, it would be 34 to the finish. And that's kind of the money. That's sort of the money pit stop right there, right? Like, do you go for it and, really hope that you can fuel save and hang to the end at 34 laps? And, yeah, it was 35 is possible, I guess. But, man, I tried to fuel save so hard and it just didn't really... Maybe my set today had... Maybe the track temp. I mean, I'm just used to, running the official 500 and official Indy Oval, which are always at a bit of a different
Kevin,
temp,
I'm sure your phone is blowing up right now with like the 10,000 messages, of course, as well as your Twitter and Instagram and everything else on social media, of course, because you are the first U.S. driver that's won Indianapolis in some time right now. And
yeah,
so, Matt, how proud are you? How patriotic you feel to be an American right now, winning in Indianapolis?
The bald eagle is, making noises. It's perched on my shoulder. All of that, something like that. But it felt good. It's the first time in a while I've messed with a super speedway set for IndyCar, and it felt okay today. The new Indy scan, it's definitely. Took a while getting used to. It's scary driving around other people here, obviously. It's just, you get late into a stint and the car just plows into the Shadow Realm. But with enough extreme weight jacker, we made it work. And yeah, the final pit stop was just from what Caps is telling me, I was very, very fast on that final stop, and I think that sealed the deal today. So need to still work on my stops before the Open Wheels 500 this year. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's a thing that Race Spot's doing, and yeah, it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. So this was kind of a nice little warm up for trying to qualify.
We'll check that for sure, and no doubt post that one in the chat. And last minute, any thank you to everybody out there?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, always Adam Crane, who is a many-time IAS champion, has helped me a lot in IndyCar. My friend Blaze, who cheered me on and inspired me to keep running after a rough couple races at the start of this season. And of course, everybody who's watched me on Twitch and stuff, and just Zach, of course, my normal spotter, was not here today, but that's okay. It worked out nonetheless. And Team Watson Racing, of course, Team Watson Racing Setups provides a bunch of good setups for everybody, and just generally a bunch of cool guys. So, yeah, cheers, and yeah, that was fun. That was stressful, but glad I was just hoping to make it to the finish line today, to make it to the finish line in first and get the pole. I will take that. That I really didn't expect it. I expected, I actually, from the early pace of Alex and Kevin and Danilo, I really thought I was going to be in a lot of trouble. When they started breaking away early in the race, I was just like, it's over. My set's not good enough. I can't make it happen today. But strategy prevailed, and that's kind of the only way I ever tend to win at ovals. So I'm happy it worked out. See you guys at, what is it, Barber next? That's going to be really fun. It's one of my favorite IndyCar tracks of all time. So, yeah, catch you around, and yeah, have a good one. Cheers.
Yep. Yeah, I am back. Yep. Yeah, hey, Paulo. You finished second here tonight, my man. It was quite a battle with you and Alex Richardson there at the end. Take us through that finishing last, I believe, about 20 laps or so, where you and Alex really battled it out. We were almost watching, thinking that you guys were battling for the lead, but you come home third here tonight. Take us through your race.
Yeah, I actually expected it to be in the lead, since the other drivers didn't pit yet, and they for sure needed to do one more stop. So I was actually trying to get Alex for the position, but most of the times I was trying to fuel save a bit before we pitted together. But I actually came out in front of him, which gave me an advantage for a few seconds there. But yeah. I didn't expect for Daniil to just be in our way. He actually had like a really close pit. I think I passed him, but then he passed back. Then at the finish line, I couldn't tell where he was going, and I ended up hitting his rear, unfortunately. So that's P3 instead of P2.
Yeah, this race kind of started off as a caution fest. A lot of caution started to rain down and start this race off. But once the green flag stayed out and you guys were able to race those cars here tonight at Indy, it was really kind of like a competitive race throughout. Did you start to feel, though, as the laps were counting down, the anxiousness and the competitiveness, or even more pressure come onto yourself there, that you might not have the car to win, and if you did, there was going to be a lot of strategies that had to come into play?
No, I actually got caught up by 2 accidents in those first 2 yellows. So I was like, well, just gotta have to finish it somehow. And I pitted as early as possible to do the lead fuel stops. In case there was a green pit stop, the cars ahead would pit first, and I had the advantage to go on later. And it sort of worked out. Since I was last place, I managed to still be on the podium. But I kind of wish it was better at the end. But the fight was great with Alex.
And Paulo Lopez, my friend, I loving you for the years now I've been casting you. You are giving that Portuguese spirit. I don't know what it is. What is it in the water or whatever you eat in Portugal? But it's fire. It's pace. It's just championship material. You deliver. I mean, look at the way you're holding off these drivers. You're leading laps over and over again. We know how hard it is to lead a lap, right? You got drivers pouncing on you behind. and you're delivering everything you can. Paulo Lopez, I love it. The Portuguese livery and everything. You are a fantastic member of this community, mate. I know how much trust me, mate. When I go to Portugal, you better take me to the best Portuguese restaurants because you are a massive and you're a racer. You're born with racing blood in your veins. Like what is it that makes you so quick?
I mean, what's the point of just doing laps to just finish, right? At least try to be competitive and race everyone, even if it's for the last places or the first positions. But yeah, I at least try to actually finish the race. Like in Long Beach, I did it, but at least I did the 80% just for the points to count. But yeah, I am improving still with the car. It's still been a challenge compared to the F1, which I was getting much more of the hang of it. But I'm liking it in IndyCar, and I will still keep going driving it.
And that was a crucial thing you said as well, too, because you were getting much improvement. And it's showing you right now, too, that your improvements in the IndyCar anything basically you lock into and drive gets better. Thank you very much, Paulo Lopez. You are certainly a massive member of the community of IndyCar Racing and a very, very quick one. And, mate,
thank you very much.
It's not over yet. That championship is still up for grabs. So I hope one day you'll very much grab it, if not this season.
Yeah, we'll see. It's still a long way down and a lot of competitive drivers, but I'm just happy to even be in the higher positions or just having fun with a lot of good drivers here. And the car is fun to drive side by side, so it's always a good time here.
That's the key for you, Will.
Yeah, well, thank you, Paulo. We appreciate you taking the time with us here, my man. And Biggles, tonight's race, we thought it was going to be a little bit of a caution fest. And it was to start off this race here, the first bit of this race. But once we went green for a solid 50 laps there. It really opened the door to start to see some of the speed rise up through the grid. And we saw Kevin Stamm up there. We saw Alex Richardson up there. Of course, we saw Paulo battling as well. But who would have thought, even though with the fastest practice time and the fastest qualifying time, that Kevin Burrell would be the name that we see at the top of this grid here, taking it home for the Americans here at Indy.
I thought the 100,000 screaming Indy fans probably would have predicted that one, of course, because they wanted it, they got it, of course. An American driver winning in Indianapolis, that's something you haven't seen in many years. Of course, now you're going to see it live in IndyCar Racing. Of course, if you haven't seen it live, watch it back. But absolutely brilliant, of course. All the drivers who competed in it. It's always been that case, isn't it? When you get those late safety cars, and everybody's. But believe it or not, we didn't really get a late safety car. We got a good 20 or 30 laps of green flag racing towards the end. That was great. Yeah. We had drivers dipping into the pits where we didn't could they go to the end? Could they not? They couldn't. And it switched the whole 7 or 8 drivers that were really on the lead lap towards the end, getting it done. That was great. I really enjoyed that.
The race was over for Kevin Burrell to head down pit road. He flashed a 3-second pit stop down pit road. So that allowed him to get out in front of everybody and still win this race by 3.5 seconds.
He had the pad hacks. He had what was a fan boost. That was what it was. He drove across the pit lane and had a fan boost of 3 seconds. No, I legitimately he got it done. And and it was surprising to us, wasn't it? We're like, to me and you, we're like, that's it. His game's over. There's no way he's gonna get it done. Of course, poor Lopez and Alex were battling it out. He got it done. Goes to show you, mate. Grow up around Indianapolis, be a United States citizen. Bang, done.
You get it done here tonight. Now, before we wrap it up at Indy here tonight, Biggles, what are the folks in store for at Barber next week?
You're going to have to ask Mr. Fantastic Producer Gerald, of course, behind the scenes there on that one. Gerald?
You might have to ask Will that one, I think.
Gerald, wake up, my friend. By the way, Gerald is the man who's been putting all the pictures behind the scenes, okay? He's the man that does all the work. Barber.
Yeah. Well, we're all in for
I haven't been to a barber in about 10 years because I'm bald. But any of you guys want a haircut, maybe you need to go to barber. But Gerald, where are we going?
Yeah, so it's not a track I've ever raced, unfortunately. All I know is it's got a beautiful last corner that goes downhill, and you can't see the apex of it.
There we go. We're all in
That's
for a
all
treat
your
next week,
research you've ever done. I've seen your hours on iRacing.
See,
Maybe Polo, real quick. Let's ask an expert. Polo, you still here? Polo,
Yeah.
Barber, how's that for a track?
Still need to practice more because it's the only first time I'm gonna race there. And wow, the elevations and the chicanes are mental.
Oof.
All
Sounds
right.
like a treat for us here at
How
Anti-Style
comfortable are you
Racing.
feeling going into this next race? Do you think you can get a pole, a race win?
No, no way.
Don't tell your team that, by the way. Otherwise, they'll renew your contract. But honestly, tell me, you can win, right? You can win.
No, but I have been practicing and I will try my hardest for it.
man.
That's for sure.
All right. You know you're not gonna get a driver's contract if you say I won't win, but I will try. Just say you will win, mate. That's how you get car. Anyway, but we love to see you on track, mate. You got podiums, mate. You get a race win.
This
By
is
the way,
first
Polo,
podium
just to
IndyCar.
let everybody know, when is the last race win you've had here in Anti-Style Racing?
With the Formula 4 or Formula 3. I never won in F1 and never won in IndyCar either.
Have you won any series here in Anti-Style Racing before in the past?
F3 and 4.
At 3 or 4. Okay, so IndyCar now. That's next on your list. By the way, have you got are you building a shelf for more of those trophies?
No, but I still want to at least get a pole. I was so close on Long Beach. I'm getting more pace. I'm actually much better at qualifying than I am racing here. But if I at least get a pole, even on Barber, I'll just be super happy on my results.
I'll be super happy to talk to you and spread champagne over you when you win the race. How's that sound? Are you
Yes.
okay if I just put some bubbly over you? You don't mind, right? It stings in the eyes, but it's worth
Listen,
it, right?
if I win a race, you come to Portugal, right?
I will definitely come to Portugal, of course. Absolutely. Any style
right.
racing is going to fuel the jet up. I'm not paying for the
Nice.
flight.
Now I'm
Yeah.
gonna put extra effort in.
There you go. I like it. Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much. That's Paulo and Paulo Lopez that finishes in P3 for the Anti-Style Racing Portuguese team. All right. Now, obviously, Will, brilliant job there and casting. Let's wrap it up, mate.
Yes, sir. And as you see, ladies and gentlemen, that final grid there with the official results, Kevin Burrell wins the race here tonight at Indy. And it was an exciting close out. It was there as we saw Paulo Lopes and Alex Richardson battling out there for what we thought was the race victory. But it is Kevin Burrell with that 3-second pit stop that allows him to cross that finish line first. But for all of us here at Anti-Style Racing here in race number 5, the halfway point here in the IndyCar series, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. We'll see everybody at Barber at the same time here once again. For myself, William Tiller, we got Biggles up here in the booth as well, and we got Gerard, our main man behind the decks. We want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you here once again next Monday night.